It's another one in the win column, Canes fans. The Miami Hurricanes outlasted Florida State 28-22 Saturday night in Tallahassee. A wild game that must be cut into quarters tonight as we embark on this new edition of CaneSport Live. Miami decisively won the first three of them until the most bizarre thing happened. The Seminoles outgained Miami 188-17 in the fourth quarter and outscored the Canes 19-0 to turn a blowout victory into a heart attack-inducing one. Thank goodness the clock ran out. But I'm going to put a positive spin on it all right now. At least the Hurricanes don't have to worry about complacency as they spend another off week here and begin pointing towards a visit next Friday night from the Louisville Cardinals, a dangerous team coming into Hard Rock Stadium. The defense has plenty of work to do. That was kind of obvious in the fourth quarter. And the offense, that's not even close to peaking as of yet. So the best of the Miami Hurricanes should be yet to come. So let's talk about all of that and more tonight as we embark on this new edition of CaneSport Live. Hello again, everybody. I'm Gary Ferman, the publisher of CaneSport.com. I welcome you once again to the People's Show, CaneSport Live. As usual, this is your show, and it's going to be driven by your participation. Many of our guests tonight have pre-registered with us. They're already filling the studio and are going to be coming on and giving their opinions on everything. If you can't get in the studio yet, be patient. The spots will open up as the show goes forward and we get people on. That'll free up spots in the studio, and we'll make sure we have plenty of time for everybody who wants to get on tonight to get their opportunity. If you're not pre-registered with us and you want to come on the show, all you got to do is send us an email to let me put the proper email address up on the screen. It's canesport@yahoo.com. You just send us an email and we'll get you in the studio and lined up to go on tonight's show. As usual tonight, I am going to be joined by our managing editor at CaneSport, Matt Shodell. And then in the second hour of the show, I'll be joined by the voice of the fan, Bruce Warner. So let's get things started with the wit and wisdom of Mr. Shodell and see what he thinks about the goings-on at Doak Campbell Stadium up there in Tallahassee this past weekend. What's up, Matt? Welcome back to CaneSport Live.
Gee, thanks. Great to be here. So excited. So excited. I'm not going to look backwards at the game. We'll talk about that with fans, but one thing that I really have been focusing on this bye week is bettering myself and being a happier person. No, I'm just kidding. I can't be happier. I'm always going to be sad. But what I actually have been focusing on is sort of breaking down the team a little bit more. And I came to a realization actually today that I don't think the defense can play much better than it is. I feel like every single player on the defense is already surpassing or at least meeting my expectations from the preseason. And, it's just a month or two later. But I feel like on offense, there's so much room for growth for this team that, right now I think the offense is in the 40s or 50s for total yards and scoring offense. I feel they're underappreciated in part because they're only playing like 2+ quarters or 3+ quarters of real football, right? Because they're, like Shannon Dustin said this week, they're sort of being conservative. I can't remember the exact word he said, but they're not being as aggressive as what he said. When you have a 28-3 lead, they're just not going to be. And so I looked at last year's passing numbers per game versus this year's passing numbers per game. And how many do you think, if you had to guess, Gary, do you think they're throwing the ball the same amount per game this year as last year, less, more? Like, what would be your guess on average, per game?
Probably a little less, right? I mean,
right. So remember Cam Ward. Okay, so Cam Ward on average, or that team threw the ball 7 times more per game than this year's team is. Now, with that said, that last year's team had a bad defense, so they were forced to try and score points. And what I'm really curious about is I think against Louisville and SMU really are the two best offenses they're going to play the rest of the way. Like, if they actually happen to score points, I think this Miami offense is capable of 500 yards and 40 points. I feel that the offense is better than the defense. Like, if I had to pick one to keep for next year, like, you can either take the whole offense or the whole defense, the starters only, and keep them for next year. Which one are you keeping? I'm keeping the offense. Like, I for whatever reason, even though defense is top 20, top 15 in almost every category, and the offense is outside the top 40, like, I think the offense is better than the defense. So what I want to know is if you think I'm crazy. Usually I am, but
I don't think you're crazy. I don't. I think the offense has enormous upside, like I said a few minutes ago. But the more I reflected on the game and looked at it, like I'm not sure the defense, even though Florida State didn't score and seemed to be being held in check, pretty darn well, obviously for 3 quarters. I'm not sure that the defense really played its best game by any stretch on Saturday night. I saw a lot of open receivers at different points, what appeared to be busted coverages that Thomas Castellano wasn't always able to take advantage of. And then in the fourth quarter, when you give up a 188-17, whatever you want to call it, reversal of fortunes, 188 yards in a quarter is just insane. And I know I've made the excuse that they're tired and all that, but 188 yards is still 188 yards. And my guess is that when they sat down this week to look at the film, that they were not overly thrilled with what they were watching. My instinct on that. But anyway, let's get into the meat of this show here. Something really cool happened today. I got an email from a guy named Sergio Mendoza, and he told me that his kids really, really, really wanted him to come on the show. That he's always watched. He's one of our most one of our loyal viewers of CaneSport Live, but that his kids, who clearly at home hear him talking about the Canes all the time, were saying to him, "Dad, we want you to go on CaneSport Live and be on the show." So you know what? I thought that was really, really cool. And not only are we going to have him on the show, we're going to let him kick off the show. And I can see he's even got a surprise for us. He's got his kids there with him. Let me go to a little wide shot here of Sergio the Drip and his 2 boys. And guys, collectively, welcome to CaneSport Live. We couldn't be happier to have you. How you doing this week?
Doing great. Just we wanted to bring the kids here. It was a Florida State game, and I raised Kane's kids. So I was worried about it. I didn't have anyone to watch it. I was living in like Louisville, Kentucky, and my wife's a Florida State graduate, so she don't care about football that much, but she was a Florida State girl. So we started having kids, and I'm like, well, what am I going to do? So whenever Florida State game comes on, I would delay it so I can skip over the part where the propaganda, where they spear with the fire and all. That's too powerful. It's too powerful. You can sway all kinds of minds that way. So I'd always jump forward. And this game was the first game that they watched it. So totally bounced off of them with their little armor. But back when we were bad, because we hired the wrong Cuban, we hired a few other people who weren't that great. We didn't have our stuff together. But I would say we're going to watch this game. I'd make them put all their, Miami stuff on. They had their number 6 Lamar Miller shirts, jerseys, and then we go to the Publix or wherever it was, Albertsons, and we would say, pick out your favorite candy. And they can get the candy whenever Miami scored a touchdown. But there was times when Miami never scored. Miami always lost. And my oldest kid is like, why do we follow them? And I was like, so that was difficult. But they got their favorite players, and we're watching it now, and I can't believe where we are now. It's quite enjoyable, considering that we're almost media darlings in a way. Like, I'm watching people pick them and fall in love with their style of play. It makes it difficult. Mario's, he's not building anymore. He's built it. Like, he used the portal well. He's hit on a lot of them. He's getting the most out of these kids, the coach, the staff as a whole, right? Just a couple things here real quick I wanted to touch up on is your conversation this morning, because I do listen to everything. Your CaneSport in the morning.
Oh, man, thank you.
It's fantastic. I walk 3 to 5 miles a day, so I'm listening to you guys. But we're talking about
there's no way you expose your kids to Matt Shodell every day. No chance.
Not yet. This is their first introducing him, so they won't be too traumatized, I'm sure. Matt's a good guy. But we're talking about the defense and subbing the defense out. And my thing was, we did 3 great quarters, and the last one, the defense was tired, just as everyone witnessed. But like, the offense let us down. So that's on the offense. They couldn't sustain one drive. Like, okay, Florida State scores on you, but sustain a drive for whatever reason. We're just in that bad habit. And again, to Matt's comment earlier, which is better, the defense or the offense? I'm going to say the defense is more consistent than the offense. I trust the defense more than I trust the offense at this point. And the offense is great.
Let me jump in. Let me jump in because I think what you mean to say is you trust the defensive play calling more than the offensive play calling, right? Because the offense stopped calling anything down the field. When the other team's putting 7 in the box and you're throwing the ball 45% of the game, even though it's against 7 and 8 man fronts, to me at some point you just have to sort of put them in their place. And Shannon Dawson didn't want to do that. He wanted to play the time game. So I think if you look at the first 3 quarters, you wouldn't have said that, right?
Right. Well, no, throughout the whole season, not just the game, but
throughout the whole season.
The defense, we're riding the defense. We have a good, solid defense that's just consistent. Yeah. A couple of spots. Let's say this fourth quarter and a quarter with Florida. Well, not a quarter, but a long drive that they really, slapped us around that drive. But all in all, I'm really pleased. I think Mario's done a great job. I think the staff is fantastic. The whole thing with JoJo and all that, man, you just got to earn it. Give that kid some time, they go on to SMU and all these other places and they do well there. Let's give them a chance here, see how it goes. And maybe we got ourselves a player.
All right, guys, we're not letting you get off the hook here. What do you two think of what's been going on so far this season for the Hurricanes?
Well, I just like watching the games. I don't really pay attention to all of that.
It's the candy.
How mad does your dad get when they're losing?
He yells sometimes.
starts throwing your toys at the wall and stuff.
That's it. Bruno, tell me your favorite player.
My favorite player is Carson Beck.
Carson Beck.
There you go.
Good choice. Can't go wrong with that. Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, we thank you for inspiring your dad to come on the show. Appreciate it. And Sergio, thank you for coming on the show.
Hey guys, start saving your money. We need CaneSport subscribers. Okay, you can't log on with your dad's account. You got to make your own money, get a job. All right, freaking get to work and buy your own CaneSport subscription. Stop living off the man.
Hey. All right, guys. Hopefully, we'll see you again.
Thanks so much.
Thank you, Sergio. Thanks for getting this.
Bye, guys.
That's very cool.
Yeah, like that having kids on the show.
Love to see the young guys on the show. So it's always great. And Sergio, I got to bump you from the studio. Oh, good, he bumped himself from the studio. All right. So again, if you're watching for the first time, you want to come on the show, you see the email canesport@yahoo.com. I'm sure we got a lot of folks that would like to get on tonight. Let's see. Let's start with let's start with Kane Kane. Why not? What's up, Kane Kane? Welcome back to CaneSport Live.
Hey, fellas, how y'all doing? Look, ain't no need for a whole lot of drawn out crap. I ain't gonna be long. Some of your people be too long. Gary, you need to tell these people, cut it, man. You got it 5 minutes. Some of them go 10, 15, and then Matt go back fighting with them, and then they go back fighting with Matt. Ain't nobody got time. You got people online. Hey, damn the third quarter, second quarter.
Time's up, Kane. Sorry, we'll talk to you later, bud.
Good, it could be up. Because, damn it, we play Louisville. I ain't scared of nobody else on the schedule. The biggest fear, I don't want to hear about trap games. We've been, Notre Dame, we better win. Florida, we need to win. Who was the other team? God damn it, who was? USF, got to win. Florida State, got to win. Man, damn it, every game is a trap game. Okay, let's just make that clear. The only team that can lose is Miami, as y'all said. They're the only ones that can F up this show. 11-1, 10-2, all that shit out the window. Run the table. Just run the table. A shout out to the new guy. Thank you, sir, for coming up. A shout out to Meister Kane. A shout out to Uki. D Black. A shout out to everybody. I'm getting the hell off this damn thing. I don't need it till next week.
No. Don't leave yet. Don't leave,
man. 5 minutes is up. Somebody gonna take 20 minutes.
Wait. What do you have to say to everything 305 this week?
He can go to hell. That's what I'm gonna say. Because he ain't real. So when you put him up here, matter of fact, if he don't show his face, go to somebody else. Because Matt said last week.
He's here. He's here. Would you like
is he gonna show his face?
Nah, he's not doing that.
He probably locked up in a jail some damn way. He's scared. But I'm getting off. Go ahead. Deal with him. Y'all deal with him. See y'all next week. I'll be at the game. You doing a show next Tuesday?
Yes, sir.
305 ride or die, and damn everything else. I don't want no negative stuff. I don't want to hear Mario. Oh, he's not a good game day coach. Man, the hell with that. Because that one play on 4th and 8, I was losing my damn mind. I said, oh shit, what the hell? But when you look at it, Malachi bumped into the lineman. If it wasn't for that, it would have been a successful catch and a first down. And it really won't play calling as much. Them damn penalties in the fourth quarter were terrible. Remember, it was 3rd and 2, all sides. 3rd and 8, he passed it, he didn't catch it. All right, fuck it. We great. We blew their ass to the north side. We won the state. That's all that matters. Hey, Matt, you gave me a smile. Gary, you gave me a smile. See y'all later. Love y'all show. Peace.
See you next week, Kane Kane.
Kick me off the board. Kick me off. I know you're loaded. Kick me off.
All right.
He should run the show. I don't know why we're on it.
He's something else. All right. Everything 305. We might as well get right to this. Okay. Uki spared you. Okay. But, you know, this is the 3rd time this year now that you said Miami was going to lose a football game. They've won all 3 of them. I got to hope that this is the end of your prognosticating career.
That was terrible.
What was terrible?
That was terrible.
What was terrible?
Gary, I will not change my philosophy.
What's your philosophy? Whatever philosophy you have isn't working.
Matt exposed it last week. I have to keep picking us to lose big games, Gary.
Big, yeah.
My theory is that if he starts predicting they're going to win, that they're actually going to lose. It's a superstitious thing. Right. Okay. So now you're claiming that you're picking them to lose because you know that way they'll win.
And how did Kane Kane know I'm incarcerated? I want to know that one.
It's pretty obvious.
So this is reverse psychology you got working. Okay, you pick the Canes to lose. That means they're going to win.
Seriously, Gary, I was very impressed with how we came out from the very beginning. Man, really owned the trenches. They hit us with some stuff early on, nothing major. We were grouped well, but I think a lot of the information that you shared yesterday, or the question that you asked yesterday at the press conference of our OC and our DC, I think those answers that they provided were very telling. I think it's the ability to go ahead and just trust your guys and to know when you've got a game in hand. I understand why Mario went that way. But there comes a point in time where you just got to go ahead and still throw the ball when there's 9 in the box and you've got a chance just to knock him out. And again, that penalty killed us. But I'm going to go back to something, man. He's got to get better. He's got to learn. And there are times, Gary, that I don't get it, Gary. It's 45 seconds in the first half. They got 1 timeout. Man, just take a knee. Get the hell out of there. You run the ball. You turn the ball over there.
You're talking about when they ran a play before they took the knee.
I mean, those things.
Yeah, FSU had 1 timeout. Yeah, I agree. I was thinking the same thing at that point, honestly.
It's just like, listen, he's a sharp guy. I mean, you know, I'm about 15, 17 years older than him, but he's a much smarter guy than I'll ever be when it comes to football. But damn, man, you have everything to lose in that situation. There's nothing to gain. You have the momentum. You have the game. You don't put yourself in a situation to risk something, Gary. It's just like he doesn't learn. And there's no excuse for it. And
it's funny. I wrote a column about this today, and the reason I did was it really struck me on Saturday night up there in Tallahassee. Other than a million people, coming to me about you, and wondering whether we should ever allow you on this show again on Tuesday nights. The biggest thing I heard up there was, about Mario. Everyone's talking about Mario. When's Mario going to blow it? Mario can't manage games. Mario's going to blow one of these games. It's like nobody respects Mario. And like the program is where it's at, right now with the opportunity that it has in front of it, largely very honestly, because of Mario. I mean,
Sure.
he's laid the culture, he's established the work ethic, and obviously you got a million people in the building there contributing to everything. I don't mean to diminish what they're doing, but they are following the lead of their leader. And yes, he's made some mistakes in the earlier parts here of his head coaching career, no argument. I just wonder if he's ever gonna be able to shed that label that people have put on him that has clearly gone viral because it's parroted all over the country. And it's like I said, I was hearing it over and over and over and over again up there in Doak Campbell Stadium, in the press box. The national media wholeheartedly believes that to be true. The fans, people out on the streets after the game, like that's all anybody was talking about. And I just thought it was so interesting because they're winning, like they're winning, and they're looking like the best team in college football right now. And if they ever do manage to lose a game, people are just going to blame Mario. And it's an interesting dynamic. And I'm not saying you're wrong about what you're saying about that one particular play. Yeah, they could have taken a knee one play earlier, but that's what I'm talking about. It's like so that they do that. They don't take a knee one play earlier. Mario can't manage games. It's an interesting how he's been branded in this regard.
Gary, but your resume dictates that, and he's demonstrated that. And what's worse, the last three possessions that we had the ball, we're snapping. If you're doing what you're doing on defense, I get what you're doing. Go ahead and snap that ball at 3 or under 3, not at 17, Gary. If you're going to take the air out of the ball, as Shula would say, then you take the air out of the ball. You don't go ahead and play soft. You play with whatever type of gimmick defense to go ahead and let them kill as much clock as possible. You don't do that and then go ahead and snap at 17. You just don't do that. And those are the things that, man, he's one of ours and all that. He's a South Floridian and all that good stuff. He's a Kane, yeah, but, man, you're too smart to be making the same error over and over and over again. And it just doesn't make any sense.
Well, yeah, listen, you're not wrong, but the thing is, like, these coaches make so many decisions over the course of a game, and they're not going to do what the fans think is the right thing all the time. In this case, it's hard to argue your point. But Mario's been pretty good this year. I do think they're shutting games down a little too early, and it's caught up to them now several times. Might want to be a little less stubborn on that front and maybe take it a little deeper, at least into the fourth quarter against these quality opponents. But then there's other games against weak opponents when you'll see the starters in the game. You got a blowout victory against Bethune-Cookman, and we're sitting there looking at the starters in the game late in the third quarter and wondering what the heck, Ruben Bain is doing out on the field. So, it's just bizarre. There's always something that can be second guessed or criticized. And, I don't know everything. I don't know what to tell you. I don't see it changing.
And I got a question here, guys. How does this? You're ranked number 2. You're getting a lot of good national attention. How does this catapult you recruiting wise? What's going on with these local kids that keep wanting to go elsewhere? Everybody's got money now, so it's not about money.
Yeah, I don't think it's making that big of an impact yet on recruiting. I really don't. I think most of the class is done. I think they're going to go whale hunting in December, and we're like in a little bit of a lull right now. And I don't know that it's making that big of an impact right now. Maybe it will in December when the real nut crunching time comes in recruiting. But it's not like, oh, geez, they're 5-0 and they're getting a groundswell of new commitments. That's not the case.
Yeah, that's not like the old days, that's for sure.
No.
All right, guys.
All right, everything.
Appreciate
I think I appreciate you coming on and showing yourself. And I'm sure we'll talk to you next week.
Okay, it's Gary.
All right, everything. Have a great night. Got to give him credit for, I mean, I can't tell you how many people came up to me at Doak Campbell Stadium and said, "Don't let that guy ever on the show again." It was pretty funny. Between that and people asking for Matt, it kept me busy for the hour or two before the game started.
I have to hide before games.
Oh man, it was like, yeah, Matt, what's up with Matt? Where's Matt? Whoa. Yeah, it was pretty funny. All right, let's go to Sebastian. Welcome back to CaneSport Live, Sebastian. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing pretty good, man. I'm so impressed with the game on Saturday. I'm rewatching it right now because I always like to rewatch the games because there's things that you pick up on it. You guys really highlighted some stuff in regards to what the defense schemed up, letting guys run free, but just trying to make that life kind of hell for that quarterback who was running for his life the whole entire time. Can you guys talk a little bit about, the development of some of our young talent, players like Marquise Lightfoot, Armando Blunt, in regards to, as we get ready to transition to the second part of the half of the season, how important are they going to be?
Hey, don't leave out Bryce Fitzgerald either, man. That kid.
I'm gonna talk about Bryce Fitzgerald.
Yeah, I mean, talk about young players making an impact. Jesus, that kid's got 3 interceptions and is playing like a veteran back there. But they're doing a good job developing the young guys. I think Blunt and Lightfoot, they're not quite ready for heavy reps yet, but they're giving them quality reps when they are brought into play and mostly in those passing situations. And I think as the season goes on, we're going to see them making more and more of an impact. Miami will probably play a little bit lesser quality of competitor here in this next stretch of games than what they played the first 5 games of the season. Doesn't mean they're going to win every game. Doesn't mean they're not going to have close calls. I don't think they're going to see teams like Notre Dame, Florida State, that pose the type of offensive challenges that those teams did. And I think that's going to be a chance for those kids to catch their breath and maybe start impacting the game a little more. Armando Blunt, I'm telling you, he's close. My only thing with him, and I know I've said this before, I wish he had redshirted last year because he's going to be a hell of a player. And by the time he's a hell of a player, he's going to be leaving the program. And I hate to see that. I hate to see that. But he's going to be good. Lightfoot's coming on, contributing a lot in the pass rush game. And I don't see a whole lot of, you look at Tony on offense doing great. The young guys are being accounted for.
No, I was really impressed seeing that. I think Lightfoot's about 15 pounds from being real dangerous. I mean, I just think he needs just a little bit more weight on it. And
you should have seen him 6 months ago. You weren't thinking he'd even be out there. I mean, he's starting to gain weight. He's starting to get bigger and stronger. But you're right.
What about Booker? Why can't he get on the field? Is he just?
He's getting there. He's just not there yet. But he's close. They played him a few plays the other night.
Okay.
They feel good about his progress.
I've been really impressed with our D tackles, which I thought was a major question mark at the beginning of the season. What we're getting out of Blade, Moten, who's the other one? I think what we get out of Justin, who's the other D tackle we got?
Well, they're putting Blunt in there.
You put Blunt in there
a little bit.
But I've also saw the true freshman from Chaminade. He got
Dante Simpson.
Yeah, not a lot though.
Yeah.
Not a lot. No, a couple reps. He's just he's not physically ready for this.
So Matt, I got to really give it to you. You have been spot on all year. I know you take a lot of grief from the fans, but your analysis has just been on a whole different level. So I'm just not a hater tonight, but I'm really worried about this Louisville team, and you're going to tell me not to worry about them. So,
well,
because I feel like we're going to spend 2 weeks of all this Miami I love you fest about we should be number 1, and I don't want us to be number 1 until like when we get to the playoffs. I don't want us to see us ranked number 2 either. So what should I be concerned about on this Louisville team? Because I'm telling you, I see a 24-27 game against Louisville, but you're going to tell me I'm crazy. So break it down to me in regards of why Louisville is or is not a dangerous team.
They are a dangerous team. Go ahead, Matt. You break it down. But they are
You
dangerous.
asked me. Is your name Matt?
No, that's why I'm shutting up. But they are dangerous as hell.
Well, the check's in the mail for somehow thinking I'm right about everything. But okay, the Louisville is a dangerous team. It's the most dangerous team left on the schedule. I'd put in the sort of at the Florida level, right? I don't think they're as good as Notre Dame or even Florida State, really. They're good, but they're not great, if that makes sense, right? They lost to they're 4-1, right? They lost to Virginia in overtime, and Virginia obviously is a really good team that only lost the one game so far in the opener, I guess, to NC State. But the key to this one is going to be pressuring Miller Moss. Okay, he was sacked 5 times by Virginia. Okay, their offensive line is the area that Miami can exploit, which is great for Miami, right? So if you're looking for reassurance for why I'm not that worried, it's the Louisville offensive line. And yeah, Braum is going to have some sort of, or try to have plays that are going to offset it, quick throws and all that other stuff. But at some point, he's going to have to throw the ball down the field. I mean, unless Miami's offense is just really struggling, which I also don't anticipate, right? Because this is a middle-of-the-road defense. They're number 48 in scoring defense in the country. And Miami's offense is really looking like it's hitting its stride. So, they have one good receiver, this guy, Chris Bell. They got to deal with him, right? And Isaac Brown's a decent running back. They don't average a ton of yards running the ball. They don't really run the ball. All that.
They got the Lacey guy that took that kick back for a touchdown.
Yeah, but he doesn't have big stats on offense. Yeah, he's fast. You're not wrong. And he had a big year, whatever it was. He had a big season a couple of years ago, was it? And on defense, they got a guy, Lubin, at defensive end, who had 9.5 sacks last year. He's got 3.5 this year. They got to deal with him. Like, there are players here and there, but there's a reason why Louisville's 38th in the AP poll, if you add up the others receiving votes, right? They're not a great team. Like, they sound like they might match up really well with Miami because they can score, right? And I've been saying it all along, a team that can score over 30 points against Miami is a team that could be a loss for the Miami Hurricanes. That's really the only concern I've ever had all season. And yeah, Louisville and SMU are the two best offenses on paper that Miami's going to face. But Louisville just, if you don't have a great offensive line, which Louisville does not, it's just going to be a massive struggle for any team playing Miami, because Miami's strength on defense is its 2 defensive ends. Like, they are going to be a handful. Like, good luck stopping them, okay? For anybody, let alone an offensive line that's been struggling and giving up sacks, So Louisville, if it's trying to, sort of stand back in the pocket and find receivers like Lacey down the field on deep routes, good luck. There'll be sack fumbles. There's going to be all sorts of problems. So they're going to be forced to play a quick game, do a lot of runs, is my guess, until they fall behind, and then they're going to have to try and go down the field, and then good luck at that point. I don't like this matchup for Louisville. Like, I've said it before, like, I'm not going to be dishonest about it and be a homer. Like I've said before, if I think games are going to be close or if Miami's going to struggle or whatever, like, I think this game's a good matchup for Miami because I think Miami's defensive line can dominate the Louisville offensive line. And it's just really hard for another team to get anything going when their offensive line's not consistently winning the point of attack. Just ask Florida State. I mean, you watch that Florida State offensive line, which was, by the way, was not a bad offensive line. And if you watch that film, did you say you're watching the game again, right?
Yeah, I'm watching it right now.
Yeah. So watch those reps when Florida State's on offense, and just watch the offensive line. There wasn't a rep I saw where they weren't getting pushed in the direction Miami wanted to push them. Okay. Yeah. It was domination at the point of attack. And that's why Florida State had 3 points until the defense got tired, So yeah, I'm not
I like the fact that this game is going to be at Hard Rock Stadium and not at Louisville. But when you can coach offense the way that Jeff Braum can coach offense, you're going to be dangerous to just about anybody. And
he killed us 2 years ago in Miami.
No, he's good, man. He's good, and he could scheme it up, and they can get some points and cheap points and stuff, and stay in a ball game. But I agree with Matt. I don't think their defense is going to be able to stop Miami. But because of the way they are capable of exploding on offense, they're dangerous.
Okay, I got one other point because I know we said everybody got like 5 minutes. Can you guys talk about this team and use it in the context of last year? Last year, I kind of felt like, a lot of teams had film on Lance Guidry his defense, and
Yes.
they were able to prepare for him at this juncture of the season. There were things we saw in the early part of last season that we didn't fix, and I felt like a lot of teams had the blueprint to beat us later on in the year.
Yes.
This year is different because now we have Corey Heatherman, and they have not seen many teams are playing us knowing that we don't have the same defense that we had last year. And Corey Heatherman, I feel like has been a step ahead of everybody. And so now we've gone through 5 games, and they've got tape on our defense. And you even said it, Matt, and I've been watching the shows in the morning, that there were plays that Florida State had on the field that they just didn't capitalize on. So as we go throughout the remainder of the season, if you guys can talk to the fact that they got 5 games, they got 5 weeks of tape on us, like where do we need to shore up so we don't get caught later in the year? Because that Georgia Tech game was a primary example of I just felt like they just had the blueprint. They knew exactly how to beat us on defense, and we could have won that game if Mario wasn't just too aggressive and not kick field goals when he was trying to score touchdowns. So if you could talk a little bit about where we at right now after 5 games, where we don't need to get exposed later on in the year from other teams where we could blow the season.
What do you think, Matt? I mean, I know how the secondary has been playing great, but they had some breakdowns the other night. That would be a place to look in regard to his question.
It's not about what we're looking at. Honestly, it's about when another team finds a way to stop them and how they respond, right? Because Lance Guidry's defense worked for a little while until I can remember. There's one team where they just exposed it through the deep passing game and explosives and whatever. And Lance Guidry never had an answer for how to fix that. So there hasn't been a team yet that's come along and said to Miami's defense, hey, we found a formula to beat what you're doing to us, right? Because that's what Heatherman does. Heatherman doesn't just sit back and say, let's see what the offense is doing and adjust to that. He says, here's what we're doing to you, okay? And let's see how you respond, which is great, a very aggressive approach. But if there's an offense that does come along and has an answer for what Heatherman's trying to do, then the question becomes, can Heatherman adjust to that? And then if other people emulate that, can he have an answer, right? Because that's what Lance Guidry didn't have. And I'm actually, believe it or not, and the fans are going to kill me for this, I'm actually of the opinion that if this exact group of defensive personnel was on last year's team, that Lance Guidry would still be this defensive coordinator, as scary as that is. Because sometimes even scheme can't make up for having really good athletes on defense. And the upgrades on defense, especially in the secondary this year, are astounding. Astounding. So, I think, and just to answer, just to fully answer your question before you continue. So I think it's going to be harder for an offense to find that golden nugget of here's how we beat this defense, right? I don't think there's an answer for an offensive coordinator right now, other than, maybe they can attack, like for instance, I think it's NC State. One of these teams has a great receiving tight end. He's like the top receiver on their team, right? Miami hasn't faced a great receiving tight end yet. So is the linebacker, if there's a weakness right now for Miami on defense, it's linebackers in coverage. They've been awful. Torrey and Basains have been awful in coverage. They're the 2 of the 4 most targeted players on defense by opposing offenses with good reason and with good results. So my guess is there's going to be teams that try to take advantage of that. But to do that, you have to have good tight ends that can catch the ball, or good running backs that can catch the ball. And that's the only weak area I can see right now where maybe Heatherman hasn't been tested, has to find an answer. He stopped running quarterbacks. I think he's been pretty good for the most part with coverage, 2 high safety looks, blitzing safety, sometimes mixing it up, zone, man. He's mixed a lot of stuff up. So I know it's a long-winded answer, but I'm not overly concerned. I think the only thing we haven't seen yet is, again, if some team can figure out a way to attack those linebackers in the passing game, that could create some problems, and we haven't seen teams try to do that yet.
Yeah, I think all those portal guys like Scott and Jacoby Thomas, I think they've all played themselves into draft status in the NFL. I mean, because they've shown that if they're in the right system, they could be absolutely dangerous. This is my last comment, and then we'll turn it over in. I saw Jamal, I think Bonner is his name, the linebacker from NC State. Is he healthy? Is he available to play?
Yeah, I was going to ask about him today. I'm not sure he's healthy. I think he's played in 1 game.
He hasn't played much at all.
Yeah, so I think there's something going on there. I got to find out. Yeah, I was wondering about that too. But but Aguirre's been good. Chase Smith's been good. Like Chase Smith's good in run support. Aguirre's good in coverage, right? Like that's good depth right there. They're doing a 4-2-5. Scott's made up for everything. I mean, Scott almost looks like a linebacker sometimes out there, the way he flies around.
I mean, I'm watching the game right now, and I'm talking about there was one player I think Florida State wanted to take off the field. That was Scott. I mean, he just was a menace the whole
time. How about Jacoby Thomas?
Jacoby Thomas. And Gary, this is just kudos to you. You've been talking a lot about talent acquisition and hitting on good players like in the portal.
Hey, don't praise Gary. He doesn't need to hear this crap.
Just hear me out.
Hey, I get ripped enough.
Just hear me out. I just want to say that whatever Miami's done in that department of evaluation has been really, really good. And I'm really interested in what next year's portal cycle is going to look like, because I feel like we have something that's pretty attractive for some guys that's really trying to take it to the next level. Whatever you guys want to comment on that, y'all can keep, move on to the next caller, but I think that's been pretty spot on. That's been pretty good.
I'll comment on that because you know how much I love the transfer portal.
Yeah.
I still am a big believer in Mario as a recruiter and not a portal addition guy, even though he hit amazingly well. This is by far the best portal cycle he's had. And the reason being, he's proven throughout his career that he is the best head coach recruiter of high school talent in the country. And what that means is he starts on these guys when they're true freshmen in high school, sometimes even in middle school. And he's talking to the families and he builds that bond. And once those players come here, they don't just, they're not just here for the money, right? They love Mario. They know what Mario can do for them. It's like almost a father figure. And that's how you get players in the NIL era to stay, maybe even at a reduced cost to your roster, whatever it may be. Plus, true freshmen are less expensive than free agents, right? So you can have more of them. So I think long-term, the answer is playing to Mario's strength is recruiting. But if you keep taking 20 portal guys in a cycle like they did this year, and 11 of them start, eventually, your freshmen are not going to come here. And your freshmen who do come here are going to leave because you keep bringing in transfers ahead of them. That's my only fear, because I know he's recruiting great players. I know he's developing them, and I want to see them play and succeed and then keep that going versus taking 20 portal guys and starting 10 of them a year. That's just me. I know other people have different opinions of it, but that's what I like to see.
But listen, the onus is on the younger guys to develop and be as good as the guys in the portal. These coaches don't discriminate, okay? They don't care what year you are. They care purely how good of a football player you are. And if you're a young guy on this team, you have to develop. And you have to get to the point.
Bryce Fitzgerald's a prime example.
That guy wasn't even in spring practice. He comes out in the fall practice, and I watched that kid. I was like, "Why?" He was showing up constantly in fall practice, and sure enough, you get to the season, and in one fall practice, 15 practices. It's more than 15 practices. It's like 20 practices. He earned a spot on the field. It's unbelievable.
And he's like 15 pounds from being dangerous. I mean, he's just a true freshman. I mean, when he gets to his third year and he has like 15 more pounds on him, secondary's fixed for a couple of years,
Yeah, these young guys are really, really good, especially on defense. The defensive line young guys and some of these young guys in the secondary, even Ethan O'Connor, I think is going to be around for a couple more years. Like, these guys are going to be special players. And to Gary's point, I understand that they'll play the best players. I understand the young guys have to develop, or you bring in portal guys. But at some point, if you have a budget and you want to bring in let's say you want to get the quarterback that cycle, right? You could either get 4 players, on between defense and offense, or pay $10 million to the top quarterback in the portal, let's say, right? That's your choices. Because you don't have unlimited money. I know some people think you do. You don't have unlimited money. So that's the point at which I think it behooves them to be able to use the younger guys that maybe haven't had that much experience and just trust that they're going to be good enough. Because a lot of times, like what Gary said, isn't entirely true. Young guys who haven't played the year before, sometimes coaches just don't know how you respond in a game if you haven't played much, okay, in meaningful reps or whatever it may be. If you're a redshirt freshman, let's say, and they think you're going to be good, but they're not sure, they'll bring in a portal guy just in case, right? You saw them do it this year at several positions. So I think at some point I'd like to see them trust those younger guys and spend the money on the free agent that you need at the position you need, right? Because there shouldn't be more than 4 or 5 positions in a given year anymore where they need free agents. And I just want them to get those free agents because, we hit big this year in the portal, But that's not to say next year we will also. There were some risks they took where you don't know. I mean, a prime example, this is one of many examples, right? Jacoby Thomas was at Tennessee last year after playing at a lower level, transfers to Tennessee, and he was a backup. He couldn't win the starting job, and Miami brought him in to start. But you don't know. Why did he lose the starting job at Tennessee? Why, if he wasn't good enough there, why is he good enough here? He was good enough here, and they did a great evaluation, but you also only have a month, 2 months to evaluate these guys. It's not like a high school prospect that you've seen come up, seen play 30 games in his career, know everything about his personality, what he's like, who he is, how he'll fit into your culture. When you're recruiting a guy in the portal, you maybe have a friend who is a coach who coached the guy at one point, or you can call his former high school coach or whatever and try to figure it out in a very short period of time. But to some extent, you're taking a leap of faith on anybody in the portal, unless you recruited them out of high school also. Like, that's just the way it is.
Yeah. Well, you guys have been doing great work this week. Matt, you told me I don't have to worry about Louisville.
Don't worry. I wouldn't even watch the game. Just go to sleep early.
Right. Okay. You've been
easy win. No problem.
But you guys have been great all year, man. Thanks, man. And, go Canes.
All right,
yes.
Sebastian. Thank you, man.
You know what? I like how mellow Sebastian and Canes, if they ever had a conversation, I think Sebastian wouldn't get a word in. Like, he's just too mellow. He's too nice. Not that Canes is nice, but you know what I'm saying? Like, he just lets you talk. Like, I cut off Sebastian 3 times. I'm waiting for Sebastian to get mad at me, and he's like smiling and happy. He doesn't care. Whatever. Super mellow. Thank you for that.
Hey, Sebastian, I got to boot you from the studio because we need the spot, but you can pick up. You can pick up.
It's so refreshing not to have somebody interrupt you, right, Gary? So refreshing. I'm not used to it.
You can pick up the show on the front side at CaneSport.com. Okay. Yeah. Anyway, we might as well just get to this moment because you missed it last week. He didn't get on last week, but
I was celebrating.
He's back this week. So no better time than right now to bring Greg onto the show. Greg, you got to be happy this week. You got to be smiling.
I'm very happy, but I still got a bone to pick with my buddy Matt.
Oh, thank God it's not me.
Okay, no, all right, Matt. Let's start here. You said to be a national title contender, you need all these blue chip top draft picks. Notre Dame last year lost in the finals. How many blue chip players did they get losing the draft last year? Joe Wall, the first rounder, and who else? Where were all those great players?
All right, Greg. Listen. We haven't studied Notre Dame's roster, but listen to this. You don't think there's a little elite showing up on the Miami Hurricanes this year? I mean, come on.
Of course there is. I'm trying to make my point. Miami. I said they were going to go 12-0. You guys said 10-2.
DJ Daniels.
So Greg, listen. Greg.
Would you stop on agreeing with you?
So, Greg,
let me make my point.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
You're telling me Miami doesn't have one of the top 3 offensive lines in the country and one of the top 3 to 5 D lines in the country? Are you going to deny that?
No.
And a good quarterback who could be very good? That's not enough to be a contender.
Are at that level to where you would say it's one of the best D line. I mean, I'd have to study it. I mean, the ends are obviously 2 of the best ends in the country. But are Bain and Maui Go are going to be top 10 picks in the NFL draft this year?
All right. Well, look, it's my turn to talk for 1 minute. First of all, so Notre Dame did have 6 players drafted last year. I looked, and they may have.
So Miami had more than them. Who cares? Go ahead.
Okay, and they may have more coming up this year that were on the team last year. I don't know. I don't cover Notre Dame. When I say that, I'm talking about Miami Hurricanes teams that I've covered, right, a long time ago, and those teams were stacked with NFL talent. That's, to me, what a national championship team looks like, because that's what I covered at Miami. That was a national championship team year after year after year. They pounded out NFL draft picks. So you can compare them to Notre Dame, or Miami-Dade Community College, where I assume you went, or wherever it may be. But the fact is, for me, based on my coverage of the Miami Hurricanes through my life, that's what the national championship roster has looked like. Okay, it's NFL talent throughout the roster, scattered throughout the roster through different classes, right? Freshman, sophomore, junior, senior. Sorry to all the Miami-Dade Community College graduates. It's actually a very good school. I don't know where you went to school. I don't even know why I said that. Greg gets under my skin because his first name backwards is Gerg. And I don't know why I think Gerg is an interesting name. I think that's what I'm going to call you from now on, Gerg, because everything I say you twist around and get backwards. You make everything I say backwards, so your name now is Gerg.
Are you done yet?
Now I'm done.
Okay. Now, you guys are all worried about Louisville, that real powerhouse. You mean the team that only had 20 points with a minute and a half to go against James Madison? And didn't they lose at home last week to Virginia? Is Virginia some kind of powerhouse?
Did you listen to the last 10 minutes of the show? I'm just curious because I said it's not a game to worry about. I don't know.
This guy Sebastian's all worried, like, whoa, watch out.
Oh,
okay, let's get to Mr. Cristobal. Okay, with 13 this whole debacle started with 13 minutes to go in the game when Dylan Day got a targeting penalty, okay? They scored, okay? Then they got the ball back on the 4-yard line, and they had, what was it, a 19-play drive?
Yeah.
I love Corey Heatherman. I think he's tremendous. But maybe on 4th down, maybe you send the house against Castellanos and make them get rid of the ball, and then the rally's over for the rest of the night.
50% of the time, Greg.
What?
They blitz 50% of the time on defense.
I don't think they were blitzing too much at the end when they had a 19-play drive.
Well, that's part of the criticism. That's part of the criticism, right? Is that they were sort of sitting back, making them earn it. They weren't being aggressive on either side of the ball. And I get it. It's frustrating for fans, but they won. They did win, right? So until
I am thrilled they won.
Yeah.
Okay.
So until they lose because of that, it's hard to argue with it. I mean, if they lose because of it, it's going to be a disaster because everyone's saying we saw it coming. We kept telling you this was going to happen. You're an idiot, right? If they do lose because they do this at some point again, right? So hopefully it won't come to that.
Okay, now the entire game, they couldn't cover the wide receivers on our team. Yep. Why once in the 4th quarter we didn't, when they have 8 men in the box, we don't throw and just.
Yeah, that's the criticism.
I don't get it.
I
don't care how good Mario thinks his offensive line is. When there's 8 and 9 guys in the box, you're not going anywhere. When you run up the right into the center.
But you got to keep them honest, right, Greg? Like, don't you have to keep them honest?
Once in a while, but not every play. Okay.
That's why the big plays work when we go to them, because we kept them putting 8, 9 guys in the box. I mean, I'm not saying you're right or wrong or whatever. I'm just saying that they would probably say you have to run into that 8-man front sometimes to keep them lining up in it.
Okay, all right. Now, my last point, I think the rest of the season, we're going to be no less than a 10-point favorite in every game the rest of the season.
Well, they're already less than that for Louisville, but okay.
I'll bet you it goes off at 10 points. Okay.
You're going to bet me on that before the – anyway, SMU is my guess is SMU on the road. They'll be maybe a touchdown favorite if that.
Okay, whatever. I'll change it. You convinced me. It's a 7-point favorite or more.
And my sneaky game to be worried about, for those of you that actually care what I think,
Pittsburgh,
NC State. Keep an eye on NC State. That team is going to be a tough out. I'm telling you.
NC State, didn't they lose to Duke?
Yep. They lost to Virginia Tech. Oh yeah, and Duke. Yeah, you watch.
Oh, okay, yeah, all right. Okay, yeah, sure.
You don't have to believe me, but I've been studying that.
Okay, we'll see what happens. My last point, if we win all our games, we go into the playoffs, we get a bye. Isn't it possible we could get a home game in the first round? And then if we were fortunate enough to win two games to get a championship game.
It would be in the second round because you would get a bye in the first round.
No, not right, but I mean it in the first game that we play, we could have a home game.
Absolutely could be at Hard Rock if they're one of the top few seeds. Yes,
right.
I think they would. I think they would give them the benefit of the home game if they're one of the top couple seeds. No question.
All right, everyone, relax. Miami.
You're telling us to relax? Are you kidding me?
Miami 45, Louisville 17.
That's for next
Miller
week.
Morse gets sacked 9 times.
We'll do predictions. We'll do predictions next Tuesday night.
That could happen if they actually try to throw the ball.
Now go back to your worrying about everything. 12-0, like I predicted at the beginning.
Relax. You believe this, Greg?
Say hello to Mario. Tell him to get a little more aggressive, and we'll do fine.
Greg, we need you to get your webcam working again. Come on, man.
It says something with my browser on my phone. I used to do it last year. I don't understand.
You just have it off. It's off.
Well, okay, I'll look into it next week.
Look into it this week. We got to get you back on.
Get me on with everything. I want to rip into that nut, too. All right.
He's gone for tonight, but he's not around.
I mean next week.
All
Before
right,
he predicts we're going to lose again. Okay.
Next Tuesday, I'll try to get you on with him, okay?
All right, Gary. Thank you. See you, Matt.
Good hearing
Greg. Always a pleasure. His voice is so gravelly. He feels like it's like a Winston Churchill type situation, where it feels like the words he is saying should be so impactful and meaningful, and then he just says stuff bad about me. So it's very hurtful.
He's telling us to relax. Like, what's wrong with this picture?
When somebody yells at you and says, relax, relax, it doesn't make you relax. It makes you much more tense.
All right, well, I'm going to go to a guy that's relaxed, okay? Or Matt, you know what? Let me do this. I know you want to go to sleep, so
I get to leave early.
Well, if I move on, you're gonna have to stay late. It's your call. You can leave early or stay late. Which one
you make the decision for me? I don't run the show.
If I make the decision for you, you're staying.
If I leave early, people get pissed. They'll be like, "Oh, he doesn't care about us."
Stay where you're at. Let's go.
But hold on. Who is it? Who are you bringing on?
I got to bring on Jake. I mean,
I'll talk to Jake. Jake, I'll stay up for Jake.
He's going between. I can see him in the lobby. He's going between the wine locker and taking hits on a joint. If we wait too much longer to bring Jake on the show, I'm afraid what's going to happen.
I want to do a Good Morning CaneSport show just with Greg. Actually, have fun for once doing it.
Well, let's go with Jake.
I'm with you, Matt. You should have a Greg show, just like 100%. A once a week feature. Just Greg goes on.
His screen will just be black. His screen will just be black, and I'll be on the other side because his camera doesn't work because he's got some sort of virus on his computer. That's fine.
Just taking YouTube by storm with that show. I think
we get at least 10 views. At least.
Gary, no weed over here. I smoke cigarettes.
That was a cigarette? Oh man, now I'm really worried.
I mean, what's wrong with you, Gary? Man, he's over there snorting cocaine. Oh, now he's with us. I mean, who says he's smoking weed?
I go off camera for that. So
but was that really a cigarette you were smoking?
Yeah. No,
my God.
I don't smoke weed.
Maybe I should have gone to bed.
I'm too high strung for that. I can't do it.
What are we drinking? What are we drinking tonight?
Just going to a little more low tonight.
Okay.
Yeah, just taking it easy. I had surgery last week, so had to.
How did that go? Did that go well?
Excellent. I'm walking. Things are great. So yeah.
Yeah, you look like you were moving around pretty good.
Yeah, I had a little bone spur. Nothing too crazy.
And you going for a bone-in ribeye night or something tonight, like you usually do?
No, just doing a little Italian, not firing up the grill. We'll do that tomorrow. So that's.
Okay. I thought you had some restaurant where they have a special on Tuesday nights, but.
Just a couple of weeks in a row. We remodeled our house and the kitchen was all torn up, so it was a perfect excuse after the show. Go over, grab a ribeye.
Oh, okay.
Super good deal. So
all right. So what did you think of the game?
I did not like the play calling in the fourth quarter. That Everything 305. That I mean, just the bullshit out of his mouth this year has been stupendous. But he actually had, for once, a cogent point there. Snapping the ball with 15, 20 seconds left. We were at 13 minutes. We were mathematically, they were eliminated. Barring they were able to score 3 touchdowns in the matter of 2.5 minutes. They were mathematically eliminated, and yet we decided to snap the ball with an extra 10, 15, 20 seconds left on the clock. That's kind of Bush League. I love the talent Mario's put together, and I'm really trying to stay positive on him. That's going to bite you in the ass against a good team. We were just flat out more talented than this team. They had Willow flying around the field. No one could catch him because he's so damn small. Reuben Bain, what did he have? 15 pressures against him, but he couldn't get to him because the guy's so goddamn small. They had kinetic energy, but like we shouldn't have let them hang around like that. And that's going to be very important. Maybe not in the regular season. I don't see how this team loses a game. It would have to be coaching malfeasance at this point to actually lose a football game during the regular season. But you got to put teams away. This is 3 games now that should have been massacres that were just solid wins. And even Florida State and Notre Dame were closer than you'd like them to be. And it's not representative of how this team played. But running into – there were literally on that last drive where they kicked the field goal – or they didn't kick the field goal, where I don't know why. Take points. But there were 10 guys in the box. Doesn't matter how goddamn good your team is, how great your offensive line is. There was a situation like Shamar Brown just had nowhere to go. There was 20 bodies in front of him. You can't get around that. I don't understand that. Like that's not even conservative. It's just dumb. There's just nowhere to go. Why not improvise that? Maybe last year Cam Ward was audibling out of that type of situation where it was just like, oh, hey, there's 10 guys in the box.
In fairness to the coach, I think they're getting like you watch the way the defense has been playing in these games and like not giving up points. And like you're thinking, man, those guys are really playing at a high level, you know. And if you're Shannon Dawson, like I don't want to do something that's going to screw this up. I mean, you know, and maybe they're over baking those thoughts, in all honesty, because they are getting caught. They've gotten caught every time this year doing it. But in fairness to them, when the way the defense has been playing, I mean, it's like it's got to create a little bit of brainwave movement when you're in the heat of the battle down there.
But you can't be that complacent. And again, like I think that's got Mario's fingerprints all over it. Where run off tackle, like I'm not saying go run a 30-yard post and go for the kill shot where you risk an interception, but run it off tackle play, do something. But like running a dive when Florida's entire defense is basically within 5 yards of the line of scrimmage that's dumb.
Well, like it looked to me like they were shooting guys to the spots where they know Miami likes to run too. That's what it looked like to me.
Yeah, and there was push on a lot of those plays. We knocked them a couple yards off the line, but there's 20 bodies in front of whoever the running back is. You can't go anywhere. So at best, you're gaining 2 yards, maybe 3. If you fall, the pile pushes a little forward. You can't do that. And especially, but just like some clock management stuff, I'm going to be happy. I'm going to choose to be optimistic and happy. I don't see how we lose a game this year. If you look at, you guys were talking with Greg about the roster, and there's no doubt this roster is just so much more talented than last year's roster. I was looking at it before the show. Conservatively, 14 players on this team will either be drafted this year or are going to get drafted at some point in time. Malachi Toney is going to be an NFL player. There's just how couldn't he be? He's 17 and tearing up. I might actually argue that he is better than than Jeremiah Smith. That's probably going to
totally different. No point even trying to compare them. They're so different type of players. Jeremiah Smith's a prototype, big receiver, arguably the best player in college football. Malachi Toney is a smaller slot receiver, but has an incredible ability to plant his foot in the ground and go before the defensive players can even think about where he might be going. So, I mean, but they're two totally different players. In the meantime, CW, he really, really, really would like for you to be around to see the end of Malachi Toney's career and get drafted in the NFL, and that's at least 3 years from now. So just take note of what he's saying, because I was wide. Those cigarettes that you're pounding, they kill.
My buddy George, he's watching for sure, and he bugs me about that all the time. I'm just,
oh my God, I'm gonna bug you too. Because I mean, I was watching you. I'm like, man,
I'm a high-strung individual. It kind of just mellows me out, and just keeps me going. But
and by the way, I think they can get to the point where they used to be, which is where you have 3 or 4 first rounders every year. I mean, there's no reason they can't get to that point. That's sort of what I'm getting at. Not that they're going to have 8 guys drafted and 4 of them are in the last 3 rounds. Like, I'm getting at, the way it was is the way it still can be. It doesn't preclude the fact that you can have 3 or 4 first rounders on the same team almost every year, especially with NIL. If you and people are pointing to I saw a post about Clemson, which they're right. Clemson has not done the portal ever. And they had a lot of success not doing the portal for a while, but when they needed the portal this year, and even to some extent last year, their coaches made a mistake. Well, Dabo made a mistake and didn't recognize he needed the portal. But there's a fine line between knowing you need the 5 or 6 free agents versus taking 20 guys and starting 11 every year, because that's sort of to me, that's the FSU formula. And I know it's great that it worked this year for Miami. My concern is if they keep doing it every year, it has negative repercussions on the team long term versus recruiting. Like, people are sort of not understanding what I'm trying to say. I'm not saying don't take portal guys. I'm saying take top portal guys. Impact guys. Recruit really well. And the recruiting and development, that's the base of your team. And then when you have a guy who leaves in the portal, or a guy who turns pro before you thought, or a guy who has a season-ending injury who's supposed to be your starter, or whatever, and you realize it a year earlier, whatever the case is. Like, that's when you go and you pay those free agents,
Yeah.
Like that's my ultimate vision for the program. And then having 3+ first-round guys every single year, because that's what you should get when you're churning out top recruiting classes and developing them. You're going to get that, right? And that's how you win national championships year after year. And you're the next Alabama, you're the next, whatever era you want to pick. You're the next Miami, you're the next Notre Dame, et cetera, et cetera. But you got to get to that point where it's every year, not just, we were in the national title game, but now we suck again because we lost everybody to the NFL because they were all portal guys and they're only here for a year.
Yeah.
So that's not what I want.
No, a one and done.
I got to let you run for this week because I got to try to talk Matt into sticking for one more because somebody's demanding an audience with him. So come back next Tuesday night, okay?
See you, Jake.
Yeah.
All right, Jake. Thank you. All right, Matt. Listen, I know you want to go to bed, but this is Uki. Okay. Uki.
All right. One more.
And
he's
like, yo, Matt, stay on. This is Uki. Okay. And
fire him up. Let's go.
And he says, I need a word with you. Okay.
Just so my eyes are open, but my brain's asleep.
All right, Uki. Anyway. We welcome back to the show, but Uki, you going to give us a little video? I don't see video. I see your audio line. I do not see video. Are you going to give us some video before I bring you on? No video.
Nah.
Uki, you there?
Can you hear me?
We can hear you. We can't see you.
Yeah, I'm not coming on video tonight, Gary.
All right. No problem.
I don't want to know what's going on over there. What's up, Uki?
What's going on, Matt and Gary? How y'all doing?
We're doing good, man. What's up?
Good.
No, Matt, let me ask you something. How's stacking all those 4 stars and 5 stars working out for your boy Dabo at Clemson?
Like I just said,
No,
it
but
works.
hold on. This is what I want to say to you.
Yeah.
You keep talking about how teams did it in the past.
Right.
I think you understand those eras are over. If you look at this year, nobody has stacked talent. The Ohio State, the number one team in the
I agree.
Nobody's drooling over Ohio State's talent.
Yeah, 100%. 100% agree. Here's where we're having a disconnect. Dabo didn't recognize that he had holes in his roster at certain spots, right? Even national media didn't recognize it. National media was saying this is the best defense in the country or one of the top defenses. Their quarterback's a Heisman candidate. They have all these playmakers on offense. As a coach, he didn't recognize his own shortcomings on his roster and address them in the portal. That's the whole point. As if you're the head coach and you don't understand your personnel what you're missing with your personnel, that's what happened at Clemson. That's what cannot happen at Miami. But it's a fine line. You don't need 20, but you need 6 or 7. If Clemson had taken 6 or 7 top portal guys at the spots that they're sucking at this year, right, they'd probably be a top 10 team. But that's on Dabo not recognizing it, not going to the portal when he should have. My point is not to do what Clemson did. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying don't take anybody. Don't average 1.2 transfer portal takes every year, which is what they've been doing. My point is take 5 or 6 top free agents for the spots that you need, right? That's 6 starters out of your 22. That's over 20% of your team in the portal. That's a lot. And I'm saying do that, okay? What I'm saying is don't take 20 guys, start 11 of them. They're gone after a year. Bring in another 20, start 11. They're gone after a year because that's what Florida State's done. So you want to compare to Clemson, look at the other side of the spectrum, Florida State, where they're going year by year and hoping it works, right? Because like I said earlier, when you take portal guys, you're somewhat guessing unless you recruited them in high school or unless you have a best friend who's on that coaching staff who's just giving up the information to you. Because otherwise you've got about 3 to 4 weeks to figure out not only on film if the guy fits you, but is he the right personality? Will he get along with your team? Is he a locker room guy? Is he just out to make money in the NFL like Tyler Barron did, right? And they're going to disappear, or are they going to be a cancer in the team, in the locker room, which can destroy everything very quickly, which happened to Florida State last year. Like, there's so much to answer in such a short period of time in the portal versus, in recruiting, Mario's going to hit it. In development, Mario's going to hit it because that's his track record. His track record until this year was weakness in the portal, was getting guys that didn't hit in the portal. This year, he finally hit it, but now everyone's just assuming, we hit it this year. He'll just keep hitting it, keep bringing in 20. What I'm saying is, no. It could go the other way again. So rely on your recruiting, rely on your development. And then as a coach, you've got to know what Dabo didn't, which is, damn, these 6 guys aren't good enough that we're planning to start. We're paying a lot of money, and that's where the budget's going. And that's what I'm saying. So now you can disagree with me but that's what I've been saying. Did I say it clearer this time? I don't know.
All I'm saying is this, man. Even with the FSU situation is totally different from the Clemson. Like, you got to think about it. Their whole roster was this basically hopped into the portal after 1 year winning 13 games. And you know what I mean? So they're in a position where they have no choice. And you're comparing programs that if you got to think about this, you're comparing programs pre-NIL, pre-transfer portal, already had established culture within recruiting. So some of these teams, they're coming into the situation, they're a little bit more established. Mario comes into a situation where he had basically to delete the whole roster. Yeah. So you're expecting them to be where Ohio State is or Oregon is. But even with their situations, their depth is deleting because of the transfer portal in NIL. So it's not even the same for them. So what I'm saying is your idea of what it should be, not just for us or any other program, is not going to be like that anymore.
Well, then what's your long-term answer for what the roster building should be? I mean, I'm not hearing an answer.
You're going to have to hit this Mario, just like you said, Mario's an elite high school recruiter. He's going to have to learn to become an elite portal recruiter as well, just like every other coach is.
Okay, so that's not my question. My question is, how many portal guys you're building the roster, Uki? Okay, you know that you have to
different strokes for different folks. Miami's in a different boat, so it may have to be 15 to 20 guys every year.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Have to be. It depends on what type of transfers you're bringing in. Are you bringing in guys who have 1 year left? Are you bringing in guys who have a few years left? So That's what it depends on. So it's not. It's different. It's going to be different.
So let me ask you this. You're okay then if Mario builds a great roster through recruiting and development? You're okay with him just taking like 5 portal guys, or you're going to say always no 15 or 20 because what's the harm? Like that's what I'm not understanding.
It depends on what it requires each and every year, Matt.
He's built a good roster every year, and he's taking great recruiting talent, which you know he is, and he's developing them, which you know he is, and he still needs 5 or 6 portal guys a year that for those spots that are missing to start as starters. I'm asking you, do you agree with that, or would you still rather take?
I agree with that.
For more competition and for more depth, like that's what I'm asking you.
Yes, I agree with that. I agree with that.
Which one, the 5 or 6 or the 15 or 20?
The 5 or 6. Yes, I agree with that.
Okay, so we're not that far apart.
But what I'm saying is our situation is different from all these other programs, and what I'm saying.
It was different for the first 3 years when he did, feel he had to take so many portal guys because the roster sucked, which I disagreed with, by the way. I said, take your lumps, win 4 games and build through recruiting, whatever. That's over with. But now he's at the same level as all the other programs out there. I disagree. I think the young roster talent is shining through already. And I think he's right at the same level as everyone else. I don't think he has to keep.
I don't think our depth is that for as young talent goes there just yet. I think we got some holes still that need to be filled. If we look at the D line, because people are already complaining about the depth at the end. So
there's no problem with the depth at the end. That's the one position there is no problem. Okay. They're gonna need to take 2 free agents on the offensive line, maybe even 3 next year. They need a free agent quarterback next year, in my opinion. I don't think they need a free agent receiver, not a free agent tight end. They will need a free agent defensive tackle for sure. And probably a safety. Like that's your 5 or 6.
They might need a free agent receiver. We'll see.
Maybe. You don't think they're gonna need free agent linebackers?
To me, that's all you need next. I feel good about everyone else. I feel good about the young linebackers. I feel good about the young receivers. Like I don't see the need to spend your millions there. I'd rather spend the millions on a top quarterback, because again, you got to shuffle the money you have into what you need. And like, that's just how I sort of see it. I'd rather spend all that money on the 6 guys that I know they need versus divvying it out among 15 to 20 guys for depth and maybe 1 guy you need or 2 guys you need, that are going to be great. But, that's just me.
Yeah. All right, Uki, I got to let you go because I got to send Matt to sleep.
All right, cool.
All right, man. Good. Hey, now that you're in, give us a call. Come back on next week.
All right.
Before 9 p.m. Before 9 p.m., Uki.
With video.
All right, next time I'll be on video.
We want to see you.
All right.
All right, Uki. Good hearing from you again. All right, Matt. Any parting thoughts?
Yeah. People should all only tune in until 9 p.m. and stop asking questions after 9 p.m. I mean, who stays up after 9 p.m.? Don't you people wake up at 5 a.m. like I do and get to work like Gary forces me to? I don't understand how people are staying up this late. What are you doing? What are you people doing out there? What do you stay up until 10 p.m.? Are you crazy? But I do like Ghostface CD Wright 40. Is that the real CD Wright who everyone used to hate, or is that like a different CD Wright?
We don't know.
It's so hard to tell.
It's either him or an impersonator.
I think it's you because this is Emery's our QB of the future. I think you took over his handle.
Yeah, it's definitely not me.
All right, I'm out.
All right,
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Right. Go Canes.
All right, good night. All right, time to bring in the voice of the fan, Bruce Warner. Welcome to the asylum here, Bruce. Thank you for being patient. Sure. Let's start with your opening thoughts of what you saw up there in Tallahassee. I got Ian Killian here saying that he actually walked out of Doak Campbell feeling like the Canes had lost. That's how bad the fourth quarter was. I'm sure you were throwing a few things around at that moment in time. Anyway, your thoughts.
You know me well. Throwing things and cursing a lot. Well, one thing I want to ask you, because it's been on my mind all day. How come they didn't go for that field goal? They would have been
right. This is my theory, okay? You're up by 9 at that point in time, okay? Right. I don't have the timestamp.
Then you're up 12. They need 2 touchdowns.
What was it, 3 minutes left in the game? Was that about right?
No, I think it was longer than that. I think they only had 19 points. It would have been a 12-point lead, and they would have gotten the ball, Florida State. They would have needed 2 touchdowns to win. The way it turned out, they needed a field goal, which they got, and had they gotten lucky, they could have beaten us 29-28. And who takes a chance like that? Everybody I've spoken to, and I've spoken to like 50 former players already this week, they all say the same thing.
No, it was 110.
110.
110. The drive ended at 110 of the fourth quarter. Yes.
What'd they do for it? They went on fourth down?
They went for it on fourth down. So listen, here's the thing. At that point, like they got to score 2 touchdowns to be like the benefit of 3 points is far outweighed by the risk of getting a kick blocked and return for a touchdown in the other direction. And now you really got a problem. Okay. That's number one. Number two, Shannon Dawson had a hell of a play in his back pocket. Like that was a really good play that he had for that situation. And if Carson Beck doesn't overthrow the pass,
right?
Malachi Toney coming across the formation bumped into, he might have bumped into Francis. He bumped into one of those linemen. I can't remember which one, but it kind of threw off the timing of the play a little bit. Beck didn't adjust. He floated the pass out there, which scared the hell out of me. I didn't like that at all, floating the pass. But he overthrew the ball. If he gets that ball to Malachi, there was nobody there. He's going for a touchdown, most likely.
Okay, but the kid is not. How many field goals has he missed this year, Gary? The kid is money. Let him kick a field goal.
Come on. I don't want to jinx
I disagree.
I don't want to talk about Carter Davis. I really don't. The kid's made every kick. Okay. Right. I'm not even touching that subject. But no, like that thing can get blocked, returned in the other direction, and now you're sitting there with a 2-point game with a minute left. Like you don't
think Beck could have gotten sacked or picked the ball.
Bruce, if you give up 2 touchdowns in a minute, you deserve to lose. They
didn't need to give up. They needed to give up. They gave up a field goal. Now they're only up 6.
No, I understand.
Onside kick.
But even if they got the onside kick, they would have had to score another touchdown. The benefit of those 3 points was far outweighed, in my opinion. I had no problem with it because I thought it was far outweighed by the risk of getting a kick block.
I don't think there's a coach on this planet, let alone in the state of Florida, that wouldn't have kicked the field goal because the kid's money.
It's one of those calls that coaches have to make. I didn't have a problem with it. I really didn't. I thought, what the hell do you need? So what? So they would have won by 9 instead of 6. Like
I don't give a damn about points. I don't gamble. But if they would have made it, they would have had a 12-point lead or whatever it was, and then they really would have needed 2 touchdowns, not a field goal, which they got, and they could have gotten lucky at the end. That kid, he had 3 onside kicks. None of them went 10 yards.
I know.
What the hell's wrong with that?
They were scary the way he was curving that ball. I mean, and CJ Daniels mishandled one of them, and I mean, those were tense moments, man.
Yeah. Also, by the way, I thought that the defense in the fourth quarter, they were getting gashed. I heard two theories. One, Florida State didn't substitute, which means Miami couldn't substitute. They had to get ready and line up quickly. And 2, there was a million chances to sack that kid. They were in the backfield on every damn play. That kid is so elusive and so fast.
Pinellas came they were getting held a lot.
They were getting held a lot, but they weren't calling it. But they got in the backfield. But that kid just in one step, he's gone. And those guys had to have been gassed. So why didn't Mario call a timeout? In fact, he could have called 2 timeouts in a row. He had the timeouts, taken a 4-minute break and calmed everybody down, let Heatherman do his magic, but they didn't do it.
I wrote about it. It doesn't matter what Mario does; he's going to get criticized.
I'm not criticizing. I'm just questioning it.
I think that was I don't know, man. That was a crazy moment. I mean, I was down there, and it was. It was a crazy moment. It was a tense.
And the other thing that everybody's been saying, it happened 3 times already this year. And do I think we're going to get caught? I don't know by whom at this stage with the teams we have left, but still, they got to, and I'll bet you they're working on it because Mario doesn't want to hear this anymore. I'm sure they're working on it. I'm sure they're working on putting teams away.
I mean, I don't know how you work on that. Like, what do you
got to throw the ball more? You got 8 and 9 in the box. You got to throw it out.
Well, that's a coaching decision, and you don't have to work on that. But
you still have to work on it because
you got to
running and
you think about it in coaching meetings for sure. All right, Bruce, Meister Kane's yelling into his screen here as you're talking. So let's see what he's got to say.
I'm yelling. Hey guys, how you doing?
What's up, Meister?
How you guys doing, man?
We're doing good. What you got for us?
Nothing to complain about.
A couple things, Bruce. Well, here's the thing, okay? You got to prevent those situations. You know, you got to keep the offense on the field. You got to get first downs, okay? Take some time off the clock. Yeah, your opponent, FSU, you know, you put 8-10 guys in the box. So what do? You leave your receivers on islands, right? So you just throw a simple slant pattern.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Right, exactly.
Listen, they got dashed last week.
They tried that one slant. They tried that one slant, Bruce, and
Right.
and it was incomplete.
It was incomplete.
CJ
Yeah.
Jackson on a little bubble slant, whatever.
A little bubble slant. Yeah, that's right. Okay.
Do it until they stop it. They didn't
Exactly.
stop any of that
If it's
stuff.
working, I mean, if it's working, you know, you keep doing it until you stop. You know, they were trying to stop the run by loading the box. You know, you just keep running it until they try to stop it.
Right, they got dashed by Virginia last week, and so they decided this week they're going to go 5 and 6 in the box against Miami's running game. So they already tipped their hand, and that's why a lot of our passing plays worked. So because it's the fourth quarter and you're up by 15 or whatever the hell you're up, you don't change it. You keep taking what they're giving you. You take what they give you, and they're giving it to you. What idiot would run a running back into a line with 8 and 9 guys standing there? You got to be an idiot. I'm not saying he's an idiot, but who does stuff like
You're
that?
saying he's an idiot.
Well, maybe he's an idiot. I don't really care.
You're saying he's an idiot.
You know, if you're stacking 8-10 guys in the box, you get the defense to collapse down. Then you can run outside. You can attack the perimeter like a toss sweep or a quarterback keeper.
Bingo. Yep.
That's what you do. You're going to gain 5, 6, 7, 8 yards on first down.
But listen, Shannon Dawson's my guy, man. He's not an idiot.
I know he's not an idiot.
I know we're excited.
Our defense didn't look too great in the fourth quarter either. Not the offense. The defense didn't look so great either. And I know they said
the defense was getting gassed. I mean, they were out there for a long time.
Okay.
They were tired. They were really tired.
All time out and take the break and restructure what you're doing. Just take a deep breath.
Yeah, but keep in mind, Bruce, you might need those timeouts.
I was just going to ask, what if you ended up needing those timeouts later?
Then there's a real problem with that staff to blow a 28 to 3 lead. You take the timeout because your defense is getting gashed. How many timeouts has he called since he's been here? Well, we all go like this. What was that all about?
Not that many.
So, let's be real here, you guys. I'm just being real.
All right, listen. There's no question we see some crazy stuff.
Right.
If you look at the last few, we've seen some crazy stuff. No argument. But
I would have taken
definitely. But you know, it's just like I've been saying all along. You know, they're gonna load the box, attack the perimeter, go outside. You know, get your first downs, keep the clock running if you can, stay in bounds. That's the
easiest thing to do when they stack the box is play action. Play action, you just get it out.
Play action, play action on RPO or play action.
I mean, they're sitting there waiting to run the ball, fake the run, and do
fake the handoff and go down the field. You know, a slam.
All last year, you just kept on throwing it to the side. If they're going to play 7 or 8 or 9 in the box,
that's what you do. Guys? That's what you do. Exactly. See,
or the tight end who's open a lot.
Yeah, that's true. That's right. Well, they better figure that out because they're going to get caught if they're not careful.
No, they're going to figure it out. I don't think they're going to do that again. I really don't think so, Meister.
Right.
I didn't think they were going to do it again the first 2 times when it became I mean, now, this one was a little bigger lead, but you look at Syracuse, which we lost, and then Notre Dame, Florida, and now FSU. That's 4 of the last 7 games where they've blown
that 21-point lead. But the secondary wasn't that good. They looked like they were lost last year. I mean, the secondary is a lot better this year.
Much better, but there's good news in all this.
When I say that they had all those long drives, and I mentioned it a few minutes ago, Castellanos, as much as I don't think he thinks he's so wonderful, he actually came out and said, we haven't lost the game yet. We've lost the games. No one's beaten us yet.
Yeah,
that's how delusional he is.
Yeah,
but
who cares?
He does have the speed to tire these guys out, to make them run all over the field, cover multiple guys, and that's what happened. We were gassed.
Yeah, that game is a little bit of a one-off because you're not going to play a quarterback like that.
Of course not, and that's the point I was going to make.
Castellanos is just he's he's one of a kind. Okay, he can run. He kind of reminds me a little bit of Lamar Jackson in a way, or Randall Cunningham. I mean, that's the old days.
He runs like them.
Hey, Gary, how many throws did he have when guys were open? He missed them. Forgetting about
a lot.
Yeah.
A lot.
Forget about
And he doesn't see the field very well either. Yeah.
In the ground, over their heads, on the sidelines, he's throwing the ball. So he didn't really. I mean, he does a lot of exciting.
And he doesn't see the field very well either. All right, Mike Strike, I got to let you run because I got so many guys who want to get on tonight. Come back next Tuesday, okay?
Yeah, you bet. Take care, guys.
We'll continue next Tuesday. All right, Mike. So thank you. All right, let's go to BK Hurricane. What's up, BK?
What's up, Gary? What's up, Bruce?
What's up,
let's talk about the penalties that killed us.
Where are we getting that?
I don't know. Let's talk about the penalties that killed us, that kept Florida State on the field longer than they had to be. It was a sloppy game in regards to the penalties that we were committing. Some of them were, I don't know, they weren't using their heads, but the penalties killed us. Yeah, we had maybe the one personal foul on the sidelines, maybe. Then you had Bain dragging the kid down by the collar.
That's what I said.
Yeah, just kept them in the game. Like,
audio.
Oh, it's my audio?
That's better.
Oh, man, I think I'm a jinx then. I'm thinking I'm a jinx. Yeah, I mean, the penalties just killed us.
Bruce, go ahead.
You know, the penalties just killed us. And I'm a little worried about our tight end situation because I really want to see Lofton out there, but we keep putting this kid Bauman out there, maybe because he's a better blocker. I don't know.
That's what it is. He's the better blocker. And Lofton is. And when they need a blocker out there, he's getting the call.
So there's really no chance of this Lofton kid ever getting some, solid time if Bauman is going to be taking up the spot because he's blocking.
It's crazy. You look at, I don't know where that feedback is, but you talk about Sergio Trader not getting it done on the practice field and being out there, and Elijah Lofton not getting used a lot. That's two of what I would have said before the year are the best offensive players in the team. This offense has so much in the tank still. It's amazing. I think they're so far from peaking.
I don't know. There's not much bad I could say about the team except for the fact that they are playing a little sloppy. Other than that, I really can't say anything. And real quick, in regards to what Matt was saying before he left about Clemson, I think Clemson's issue is their coordinators. Ever since they lost Elliott and the guy from Oklahoma, the coach, they haven't been the same.
No.
The recruiting stayed the same. They get the best. They get pretty much any guy they want to come to Clemson. Clemson is not a talent issue. They just haven't hit on their coordinators. I'm a firm believer in that. They have not hit on their coordinators. They're running the wrong scheme for the talent that they have.
Maybe.
Both of their coordinators are head coaches right now. So maybe Clemson get their act together, like get some good coordinators, then they may not have to hit the portal because that's a good football team.
Yeah, well, we play them next year. I hope they don't get their act together too well.
Yeah. One last thing.
I think that bad audio is coming on your side. I don't know why.
Oh, man, I don't know why. I don't know what's going on. All right, one last thing. At what point are we going to have to commit to a quarterback so we don't have to take one every year in the portal?
When the quarterback wait, let me see if that's when the quarterback,
it's BK's phone.
It's BK, yeah. I muted you for a minute, BK, because we're getting feedback from you. But to answer your question, when the young quarterbacks are good enough, this isn't like a charity affair anymore, man. Like, this is professional football, and just because you're a good prospect like Emory Williams or Luke Nickel doesn't mean you have a challenge, you have an onus to prove that you can be as good a quarterback as Carson Beck. And if you can't be that, and Carson Beck is sitting there in the portal, Mario Cristobal and Shannon Dawson have got to go get Carson Beck. Okay, like this isn't like playing games here. Like having a great quarterback is a absolute must. And so like those guys are going to get a chance to compete in spring practice. But if they aren't showing Shannon and Mario right now that they're as good as Carson Beck, they're going to the portal again. And trust me, they don't, you go to the portal for a quarterback, you're spending $4 million. Like, that's not the thing you would always want to do necessarily. But I don't think they're going to have a choice. I think that they are going to have to bring in a portal, the best quarterback they can get in the portal to come in and compete with Emory and Luke Nickel. All right, BK, listen, we're going to let you go, okay? Because your audio's on.
All right, thanks a lot. All right, Ian, thanks a lot. I'll jump on next week.
Yeah, next Tuesday night, man. We'll talk to you then. All right.
I think that happened last week, Gary. It happened last week.
Yeah, I don't know what I don't know what's going on with his audio. I don't know. But hey, I want to give a shout out real quick here to U-Town for hitting us up for $4.99 in the super chat. Thank you. We'll put that to Bruce's retirement fund. That $4.99. We appreciate you, U-Town, and
double what I have in there in one fell swoop, Gary.
But yeah, thank you, U-Town. But yeah, the quarterback thing, it's like I hear what people are saying, and we get this every week, very often on on the message boards too. And people are very interested in the quarterbacks. When are we going to get one of these young quarterbacks we're developing to be the quarterback? And my answer is you can't force it. Like you can't force that. That has to happen organically. The way it happens organically is one of those guys has to prove he's good enough. And they will know it if he is. Okay. And they love Luke Nickel. They love Emory Williams. They like Judd Anderson. But one of those guys has got to step forward and prove I am as good as Cam Ward, Carson Beck. If I'm that level of quarterback, and then they won't go in the portal and get that guy, and they will let that guy have the job.
Well, it's the same thing with the receivers. Where's JoJo? Where's Nye Carr, for God's sakes? I thought he was going to be
not good enough.
We're not good enough, right? So you got to go to the portal.
Not good. And JoJo he's not working hard enough. He's got to work harder. He's got to earn his spot on the field.
No, I meant Ray. I meant Ray is another.
Ray's not good. He's not good enough.
Right.
He's not good enough. He's going to
play playing favorites. This is not Monopoly. You got to go out there and earn it. And Malachi earned it in the spring, so that's why he's playing.
Yeah, like you're going to take Malachi Tony off if he's only playing 45. Like I think he had 45 reps the other night. I mean, that kid's got to be on the field. Like
for multiple reasons. Even as a decoy, he's got to be on the field.
He's got to be on the field. Yeah. All right. Let's go to let's go to Adam. Adam, welcome back to CaneSport Live. How you doing this week?
Good, guys. How are you?
Doing good, man.
Couple things. One, is Malachi Tony like the best freshman? And I know this is hyperbole, but like the best freshman receiver you've seen at the U since like Santana Moss? Because again, they have. I'm not saying he's going to be as good as Santana Moss.
I wouldn't even say
amazing,
Santana.
but I mean,
like very similar type of players, though.
That's what I meant.
Right. Andre Johnson was there after Santana. I say he was better.
No, but I'm saying like they're both smaller receivers.
Oh, is that what you're talking about?
Santana,
Santana Moss, Roscoe Parrish.
I think he's better than Roscoe.
He's I mean, he's as good or better than any of these guys the way he's playing.
Yeah.
Good.
Also, Bruce, I agree with you. Mario should have kicked the field goal, and I think one of these games, I think the late game decision is going to come back to Hannes.
I agree with you though. Should have kicked that field goal.
I mean, I don't know if we let up, but it is starting to be an alarming trend that we can't, as Jimmy Johnson once said, pour it on them and don't let them up. We're pouring it on them, but we're letting them up.
Yeah, it was good enough for him to keep scoring and scoring. He wasn't worried about giving up points.
Gary, do you see the defense going in like cruise control or?
No, they ain't going cruise control. Florida State started hitting some plays. They had a 10-play drive and a 19-play drive, and they were tired. I mean, you got to remember, they're rotating in the first three quarters, but nobody's expecting you're up 28-3. Nobody's expecting you to have these guys on the field in the fourth quarter for 30. I think it was 38 plays in the fourth quarter. Do you realize 38 plays? That's a pace to have 150 plays over the course of a game, where normally you would have 60, 70. That's like 2 foot. That's like playing 2 quarters in 1 quarter. And nobody was planning for that, and they got caught. They just got caught. Their players are exhausted, and now you're fighting for your life, and you're not going to pull your best players off the field. Mario said it in his press conference Monday. Like, I asked Jason Taylor, "Did you ever come off the field?" Jason said, "No, I never came off." You're not pulling your best players off the field when the game's on the line like that, and the other team is rallying. Oh geez, I want to put Lightfoot and Booker Pickett out there at that moment. I just don't think anyone's thinking. So I don't blame the coaches. I think they got caught, and by the circumstances, and the offense didn't do its job, and they were on the field too much. And when you factor in chasing that kid around, the Castellanos kid around for 3 quarters, you're exhausted. Like I was watching Ruben Bain. He would make his move. He would get in the backfield, and his legs were like cinder blocks. Okay, they were like stuck like cement into the ground. He could not move. He couldn't move laterally the way he normally would. And man, it's crazy stuff that happens, but it happened.
Plus, they didn't substitute, which means that the referees could stop it and let us substitute as well. When you don't do that, we can't substitute either. And those plays kept on going, and they were not much of a huddle either. They were right back to the line of scrimmage. So we got. Yeah, but I think we'll have to fix that. That's why I said call timeout. At least stop it for 5 seconds. The 2-minute commercial, give them a break. Let Heatherman say, "Hey, look, let's start doing this. Let's do that."
I think it's less on Mario. I think it was just a weird situation, but I just had flashbacks that somehow, some way, of like Georgia Tech a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Well. It would have been worse. Thank God they ran out of time, because that would have been worse.
Somebody wants to know what happened. They're asking me if the kick was blocked. Doesn't matter if it was blocked or not. We went for it on 4th down and we didn't get it. So this
let's just say they block a kick there and return it for a touchdown. Now it's a 2-point.
Then we deserve to lose.
Then we deserve, a couple other things.
Bad risk, in my opinion. I didn't have a problem with it, Bruce.
I did. Not with 8 guys in the box. We should have thrown it. We should have thrown it.
They could have thrown that play on 2nd down instead of but they didn't know the slant wasn't going to work. It's easy to play Monday morning quarterback.
Oh, definitely. You see that CJ Daniels and Malachi Tony are 1A, 1B in terms of receivers. Who do you think could emerge as that 3 wide receiver? Could it be like a Tony Johnson? Could it be like a JoJo Trader if he puts in the time at practice, or somebody we're not even thinking about? So we're not like a 2-man show, or even a Keelan Marion.
A few balls, Marion.
I mean, Josh Moore, JoJo Trader, Tony Johnson could certainly play more. They've got guys. I mean, they've got depth.
And last thing, or a couple other things. One, did you guys see Jacoby Thomas has shocked me, the last 2 games he's played himself. But did you guys see this with not only Jacoby Thomas? I know Poyser was very successful on at Group of 5 or whatever at Jacksonville State. But did you see this especially from not only Thomas but from Keontae Scott when you guys were watching practice, that the secondary this year is going to be really good in the strength of our team?
Kind of hard to tell because they were all new playing together as a unit, but now they've played together as a unit in fall practice and in these 5 games and the practices during the week. I'm very happy with those guys. They're all good. They're all really good. So you hope they were good based on the resumes, but now we're watching it. They're pretty good.
What I really liked, not only about Thomas, was not only his interception, is they go for the ball. And they nearly had another turnover on Deuce Robinson late in the 2nd.
When he fumbled at the sidelines?
Yeah.
Yeah, they almost got it.
Does Will Harris and Zach Etheridge, is that one of the things they're always preaching, is go for the ball, go for the ball, go for the ball?
They did a lot of that in spring. A lot of go for the ball. Yes, that's a big part of it. The guys just held up and somebody else has got him. They're punching at the ball all the time.
Okay. And that's the biggest difference you think between like Etheridge and Harris, and then who was the guy last year, like Travis Jackson?
I don't know if that's the biggest difference. He's got better players.
Yeah.
Period.
100% has better players. Yeah.
Yeah, these guys are
They're
better.
doing a good job of coaching, no question.
Okay. Well, thanks for taking my call, guys. Have a great rest of the show.
All right, Adam. Hopefully we'll talk to you next week. Let's go to Armando Izaguirre. Welcome back to CaneSport Live. How you doing, Armando?
Hey, Gary. How you doing?
Doing good, man.
Thanks for having me on. I just wanted to say
What are you doing, homework?
No, I just write down notes as I'm listening to
okay.
everything that everybody says. I have a whole list of notes. I'm not going to get through half of them.
We'll let you do rapid fire. Go ahead.
I agree with you, Gary, on the whole field goal situation, because either way, if we get the first down, the game is over. If we kick the field goal, the game is over. But if something catastrophic happens on that field goal, it's like, we keep talking about the other thing.
The only difference would have been they still needed 2 scores. The only difference was it would have had to be 2 touchdowns as opposed to a touchdown and a field goal. But you're in the last, what did I say? What did I say that timestamp was, Bruce?
It was less than a minute and 30 seconds to go in the game. It was if we get the first down, the game's over. Like they have no timeouts. It's absolutely over at that point.
A minute and 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was the score at the time, Gary?
It was 28-19. I'm watching it right now.
Yeah, it was 28-19.
There's also some plays that the refs missed. I saw number 11 on the third down run.
They kicked their field goal with 20 seconds left.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, there's also some plays I felt like the refs probably missed. Number 11 taunted Mark Fletcher on the tackle. I'm like, how is that guy not a flag? I don't know if you even saw on TV. He even made a motion at his groin area. I thought that was I don't know how the refs missed that.
They missed a lot of stuff.
It was. I mean, I understand. You don't want to call ticky tack flags, but like that that can get out of hand real quick. The issue that I had with the fourth quarter wasn't necessarily. I know you and Matt have kind of talked about getting the defensive ends, the defense some breaks, and I kind of wanted to echo what you've been saying, Gary. I'm actually going to agree with you on this one. The game probably got out of hand. The drives kept going deeper and deeper. They didn't think it was going to be a 19-play drive. And then I don't know how the saying goes in basketball, but in the first, second, and third quarter, you play the guys that you like. And in the fourth quarter, you play the guys that you trust. And, they probably didn't want to put the young guys out there. But what I would like to see in the future here, as our schedule gets a little bit softer, is seeing some of the young guys get their reps in, because, I mean, that's supposed to be the beauty of of us having a great team is maybe in the fourth quarter the last 5-6 minutes of the game, like kind of like how we played against USF, we got to see some of the bench players come off, and I really liked what I saw from Emory Williams in the USF game. Like, I know he still has a long way to go, but he had some fire in that USF game. He looked like he had a point to prove. He was
he's improved.
He definitely not only has improved, but he had a chip on his shoulder in that game. And so that's kind of like the bummer, from watching the Florida State game and allowing them to creep back into it, because
we didn't get to let some of the other guys play.
Yeah, but those guys played when it was 28-3. They were playing. I saw a lot of those guys out there.
Yeah.
Then when it was 28-11, that didn't happen anymore. All the starters were back in there.
Yeah, Garrett, there's just one problem that I have. I know it's kind of nitpicky. I don't understand, why do they double up on the numbers? It's so hard to just kind of like you're watching on defense and you're 0, and then on offense is a 0, and one of them is they're both transfers, but it's really hard to just get accustomed to who the players are, as opposed to like 20 years ago, like there was none of that. It was easy to remember the players. Why do they do that?
Armando, you
Yeah.
just played 5 games. You're supposed to memorize those numbers. You're sitting there at a desk with a notepad and a pen. Write down the names and the numbers and come here prepared.
Yeah, I mean,
You know
what I
what?
try
I'm
to
looking-
do
I'm
is
looking at the damn chart too
when I
sometimes.
watch it on replay, I pull up the depth chart and I just kind of do it that way because it's like that's the first couple of games, but at this point it's just like there's so much confusion.
Not only that, Armando, my friend, and Gary will attest to this. These guys change their numbers in the offseason constantly.
Yeah, I remember
I've
watching.
never heard
It
of this.
was one day I was watching training camp, and I'm trying to remember who I was. I was watching, I think, Tony Johnson do something in practice. I can't remember who it was, but I had the numbers mixed up. I was still trying to get the numbers straight.
Yeah, it's confusing.
It was crazy. It's like you really got to be on your game to know who you're watching.
Yeah, I just my last comment. I know everybody kind of gets upset because we've been letting people stay in the game. But I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but and I know that this kind of came up in the past, but that 2001 Miami team, we didn't they were coasting the second half most of the games. Like they were so far ahead. The only difference is that these teams are just kind of scoring a touchdown here and there and making it a little bit closer. But I kind of like the fact that Mario kind of settles down because there's a long season to go. Not only do we have our conference schedule, like look, I understand. I know that we're better than everybody on paper. It's college football. All these teams, they have real football players, and we can't unload our playbook in the second half. To run up the score on Florida State, we can't beat them. Running some basic plays. Then what are we?
We're not going to beat with just basic plays. They're not so bad. We got to stop looking past these teams. I like Mario's philosophy.
We can't look past these teams, and then the playoffs. It's not one bowl game. It's possible 3-4 games in the playoffs.
Hey, look at the way Georgia Tech almost got beat by Wake Forest. I mean, there's anything that could happen in these games.
I mean, that great 2001 Miami team, we were about to lose to Boston College until that crazy.
That was a scary game.
So I mean, it's college football. So that's
the
it.
Virginia Tech game, I think, is going to be a blowout. But other than that, I mean,
I think we're going to blow them. They're not good at all.
I think we played Stanford. I don't think they're very good either.
They're not that good.
Stanford could get pretty ugly too.
Yeah. So, but other than that, it's going to be. I'm excited. I can't wait to see some of these young players. Thank you, Gary, for having me on.
All right, Armando. I hope we got to all your topics. If not, bring back some more notes next week. Okay.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Thanks, Armando. You got a whole week to take notes.
I take mental notes and I forget.
We'll write them down all week, and then you come back next Tuesday. All right, Armando. Good to talk to you. All right, let's go to K-Mac. Where are you pacing?
Going through the halls, getting ready to take my break. I'm sitting here working, listening to you guys today, man. What's going on, Gary? What's up, Bruce?
Where are you where are the halls? Where are you?
Yeah, at work.
No, but where? Like where? Like what?
We know you work.
In the administration building.
Oh, okay. I hear you. All right. What's going on,
what's
man?
going on, Bruce?
I'm doing good.
I had a lot to say, man. First thing is couple things I want to squash. Going back to the game. Listen, that whole thing for me was I felt going to the fourth quarter 28-3. I really felt that's actually when they should have had the second stringers in. Let them play that series. Offense comes on, does their thing. Then you bring your starters back out. That way you could have gave them a rest, gave the second stringers some, gave them some good game time. But I blame that whole fourth quarter on the offense, man. That has nothing to do with the defense. Gary, I agree with you. No one expected them to have a 19-play drive. That's just something you don't game plan for that. You don't see that coming. But my God, we got one or two first downs. You're taking another 3 minutes off the clock. You shorten the game. You want to shorten the game. Mario and these guys, Shannon wants to shorten the game. Get first downs. That's all we have to do. I understand you want to run the ball. We want to shove it down their throat, make them use the timeouts. But they're also, you have to look at it and say, man, come on. The quick slant, I'd run the quick slant all day. Just get 4 or 5 yards, get the first down, get the game over with. I really don't mind him not kicking the field goal either. We've seen some ugly things happen. Bruce, I know you're a proponent of it. I think it's one of those where, we can debate that, day in and day out. I'm fine with the going for it. Because, like I said, we hit it, game's over. But I say we shouldn't have been.
4th and short, but 4th and 8, I didn't think that was the wise move. Plus, it was, what was it, a 42-yard field goal? He could make that in his sleep. But whatever.
He could, but
he won. I get it.
yeah, but I mean, like I said, I think you could argue both ways. I don't feel that there's an absolute right and an absolute wrong. I think either way you can justify and go with both of them, be fine. But
you gamble
the main thing is,
I like to play the odds. When I'm playing blackjack,
yeah,
you know, you got to play the odds. You can't just sit there and say, well, the dealer's got a 10, you got a 5. You're not going to win. You got to hit. There's nothing to think about. So again, you got 8, 9 in the box and just put it out there. Get the ball in the air.
But I mean, think about it. There were 3 onside kicks. We collected all 3, but think about the first 2. You get the ball, you're on the opponent's 42-yard line, 43-yard line.
Yeah.
You don't have to be super safe. All you got to do is get 10 yards.
That was
get
the
a first
mistake.
down.
That was the big mistake in the whole game.
Yes.
Not getting crazy aggressive in that situation. No,
didn't need to.
Absolutely was the mistake of the game.
Yep.
Yeah, and I mean that's my thing. We had 2 onside kicks. The first 2 when we got those, there should have never been a third. It never should have came down to a third one. So I just go and I say, look, we needed to get some first downs. But outside of that, what I've been trying to do, you guys have been fighting it all week. I hear is guys are acting like as if we lost, walking around with, and we're having these big debates and all these. Look here, man, we won the game. The coaches need to go and sit down and look at this. They have to come up with something and figure out how do we balance this when we get up, where we can still play a little bit. Like I say, you're not going to be as aggressive as you were in the first and second quarter. But come on, man, we should be able to execute, especially our basic plays. We should be able to execute those and get first downs on a consistent basis, even when we're blowing teams out. Again, it's not to score, but at least take time off the clock, run your offense, see what you got, do your thing, get a field goal at the end of it if need be. But come on, we have to stop with this literally just completely shutting it down and playing at that point, playing scared. It's like, why are we playing scared? We dominated 28-3. There's no reason to play scared.
The encouraging thing is they have been massively better than all these teams.
Yes,
that's they were massively better than Notre Dame. They were massively better than Florida. They were massively better than Florida State.
Right.
I'm like, wow, this is a really good football team. They just you got to stay out of their way. You can't
exactly. And one thing, a couple things I do want to point out that have been brought up are points is, and again, and I'm not saying that our secondary is not better than last year's secondary, but let me be honest with what I'm not quite the Matt Shodell. I don't have access to the film that he has access. But let me break down what I've seen.
Better be quiet.
Let me tell you
what. Not be sleeping yet.
Well, here's what you're seeing is a dominant front 4 is protecting what we have in the secondary. I think that the guys are better. I think OJ Frederick is solid. Thomas Scott, I think they're all solid. But I think when you blend them with the excellent coaching is what's making the defense dominant. The front 4, if you don't get the pressure, they're masking the possibilities. Because like we said, we saw open receivers in that Florida State game. It's a good.
I don't know, man. I got the impression that Castellanos and everything they had to do to game plan for him kind of threw the whole defense off last week. It didn't look the same to me, and I hadn't seen receivers that wide open ever. Not in practice. There were a lot of guys going uncovered out there the other day, and Castellanos saw some of them he didn't. But it didn't look as solid to me as it has looked all through camp and all through the season so far. And the only way I can rationalize that is to say they had to change up a lot of what they do to be prepared to defend Castellanos. And that might have created some uncertainty in the secondary.
Oh no, I can agree with that, and also I'll take it one step further. I also believe that it is a product, I think, of these guys looking at and seeing what the front 4 is doing. In a way, kind of almost like what I was talking about with Cam Ward last year, where you can find sometimes where you're just kind of sitting there watching them and expecting greatness. Sometimes I think that our secondary is kind of just watching to see what the line are doing and losing track of their guys. But I'll tell you one thing, and I wrote in the message board under my message board name is Tarkane, but I wrote under that message board and I said, stop blitzing with the safety. I don't understand. We were not getting home with the safety.
Yeah.
Yes, we were, and we weren't, Gary. We weren't getting home with it. So I didn't understand.
What I'm talking about, yeah, like they were playing defense differently in this game.
Yes,
because they were trying to deal with Castellanos and the things that he does, and I felt like that was throwing them off a little bit.
Just keep him in the pocket. He's not a great pocket, that's for sure.
And I think
he gets in trouble. He makes bad throws.
Yeah,
but
and that's the thing.
There's really nobody. I know they try. I forgot who they said did it. One or two of our guys in the practices were imitating him, but you can't imitate. You can't do that.
No, you can't imitate that.
He's so different.
Yeah, I don't know what
You think you got a beat on him, and you don't.
Maybe they were trying to speed him up, but with all the blitzes, they blitzed 50% of the time, and a lot of them were great. A lot of them were
Well, they were trying to make him a quick decision maker, which he's really not. But he's the quickest. But he's an escape artist, and that's where he created problems.
And he kept escaping.
But what I did not. But this is what I didn't understand about those blitzes. If you go back and look at it, you'll see what I'm talking about. The Mesidor and Bain were doing such an awesome job of setting the edge. They did such a great job. The guy that was coming in blitzing, especially from the safety position, had to actually go around them to get to him, which that's why he was never making it home. And I just felt like, well, Jesus, if our ends are setting the boundary the way that they're supposed to, the best way to blitz is up the A gaps with your linebackers. Leave your safety. And I said this last week, leave the safeties alone. The linebackers cannot cover anybody in space. You cannot put them on an island. And if you're going to send them back to cover, you might as well leave Scott and Thomas back there to cover and let the linebackers blitz. And now you have everything in front of them. But I just kept looking and saying, Heatherman, our safeties are not getting there. They may have gotten in once or twice. I mean, through the whole game. But like you said, Gary, they blitz 51% of the time.
This guy, the Kane thing, he's right.
Pretty Kane thing is, isn't it? Yeah.
He runs and he runs. At a certain point in time, you got to see where the hell he's at, because he could be 5 yards away from you. He's already run 30 yards. You can't keep. You have to have your head on a swivel. That's not easy with a kid. Not only that good, but that fast. He is lightning. He should be a wide receiver, because he could make a lot of people miss.
Well, we got a lot of things to show up during the bye week. Louisville's a different challenge. The secondary better be on their P's and Q's against Louisville. I'll tell you that much. That quarterback is going to be now it's going to be an easier game for the guys. I think pass rushing wise, I do expect Mesidor and Bain to definitely have a big game against Louisville. That guy's not going to be moving like after you play a guy like Castellanos. Everybody else seems to be in slow motion at this point. So I think it's going to be a welcome. So I think they're going to hit the line pretty good. Actually, a good friend of mine's son is the starting left tackle for Louisville. So it's always the one game where it's like he roots against Miami. He's a huge Miami fan, but he can't root for him when his son is playing on Louisville. So he'll be playing that game Friday, a couple Fridays from now. So we're excited about it, but he's going to have his hands full trying to keep their quarterback up. But I think the secondary is going to have to play better in that next game against Louisville, because again, they are going to be tested, and you can't keep counting on Mesidor and Bain to get to the quarterback in 2 and 3 seconds every play. You got to hold up your end of the bargain, stick with your receivers, keep your eyes out of the backfield, especially when you're a corner. It's not your job. That's your linebacker's job. Keep things in front of you. Run with your guy and stop letting these guys roam free. We don't, it's again, the guys have trusted the system.
They didn't do it for 4 quarters. They only did it for
one.
They
didn't. There's a couple of anomalies that happened in that fourth quarter, but like I said, I mean, that was an awesome 3 quarters of football. It was phenomenal to look at how dominant the defense was. And that's why I said I really don't want to keep talking about the fourth quarter, because I think it just takes away from such a good job, man, of just such dominance of what we've seen. That was beautiful football. And hopefully we can get back on track and play 4 quarters of it, moving on for the rest of the season. Again, don't get me wrong, man. These offenses, they practice every week like our guys do as well. And at some point you're gonna get beat. It's gonna happen to the best of us. But the main thing is you have to stay consistent, get on your pony, trust the process, trust your coaches, get yourself in position, and do what you're supposed to do. Do your job, do your job. And I'm thinking these aren't Sean Taylors and intro roles and these type of guys out there. I'm looking at it, and I think one of the guys called earlier and said they saw, I don't know, I think it's like 11 or 12 first round picks. He's optimistic, and I'm glad he is. I personally, I don't
first round picks.
Yeah, I can see. I definitely see. Yeah, I can definitely see 3 or 4 picks, 3 or 4 draft picks on the defense, and I see more on the offense. I think the offense, you can look at more like 7, because a lot of those guys on the offensive line are going to make a team again, not first or second round maybe, but you can definitely see second day picks, third day picks that are going to make it. And I just think that we have to. That's where you say, okay, it don't have to be the Sean Taylors of the world, but again, listen, trust what the coaches are doing. Do your job like you're supposed to. The coaches are proving themselves to be competent versus last year. I don't think we get the same results this year as if we would have had the defense coordinator we had last year, or a Mark D'Onofrio type. I don't think we get the same results. I think Heatherman is a functional. He's a very good coach. He understands the game, and he's putting guys in position to be successful, and they trust him. And with those, with their skills and with his, ability to game plan, I think it's a perfect marriage. We heard you saying, hey, we hit on all these guys. We hit on them because it just so happens that the coach that they got hit with them. They mesh, and it works, and it's a beautiful thing to see. And I'm excited for the rest of the year. I really am.
All right, K-Mac, thanks for coming on, man.
Don't worry.
Likewise, bro.
Louisville 37-20. We're going to blow them out. They'll score in the last minute.
I'm not calling blowouts. I just want to win.
The other day, I think they're going to work their tails off so this never happens again. That's
I'm banking on it, and I agree with you.
A few times this year, so.
Hey, I really can't say there's any one team that I can see dominating us throughout the whole year. So I like our chances moving forward. So go Canes. You guys have a safe night.
Next week, man. Come back.
Yes, sir, buddy. Take care.
All right. Bye-bye. All right, let's go to James, the Italian Stallion. What's up, buddy? Welcome back.
Hey, what's up, guys? What's up?
Always one of the last guys on there, but he's a good caller, man.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate that, Bruce. I do. Listen, I just want to just say this. The refs have screwed my predictions up every time, okay? Hear me out. I said we'd beat the Gators by 28, and they robbed us of that Marty Brown touchdown a few weeks ago. And then I said, I doubled down on it. I said we would beat Florida State by 17 points. We should have won by more, like everybody else has said. But you cannot tell me that was not a hold in the end zone on that third down. Ruben Bain has 2 linemen there. That's a safety. Anybody else would call a safety. And then we don't even talk about a 19-play drive. I mean, what the hell was going on there? I mean, I just cannot. Listen, the refs were atrocious. For that offensive line to not get one hold call, and then that left tackle that came in, he jumped at least 3 times. They only called that false start 1 time the entire game, guys. The 1 time. And it was ridiculous. And yet we're being
they're incompetent, or they hate us, or both.
Well, you know what?
See what everybody else is seeing, that's for sure.
Gary, Gary, you and me had a conversation many years ago before we even hired Mario. It was that season of Manny's last season. And I asked you flat out, why does Mario not get those type of calls in the Pac-12 when they got screwed against Stanford that game all those years ago and so forth? And realistically, I'm still not seeing the respect that Mario should get as a seasoned coach. Lo and behold, I don't know what the ACC does if you really want to believe in that controversy. Wasn't Florida State the team that wants to leave and put a lawsuit against you guys? And Miami's the one that stand firm and is kind of your beacon of light right now? I mean, fine if you want to promote Georgia Tech and Virginia in that playoff or whatever. Miami's the brand. I mean, I'm sorry. I just do not understand that.
And the ACC comes back, my friend, if they get to the playoffs and you make it pretty damn far, because the ACC needs us. Otherwise,
yeah, they do.
Otherwise, who's there that anybody cares about?
There's nobody. There's nobody. This is still a basketball conference.
None of them are good. Clemson's not that good. Miami is the team. We need to go far. You shouldn't be getting screwed like this.
Absolutely. Absolutely. There's no respect there. And the brand sells itself. Let me just say, we are still everybody's. This is the thing that is going to be very interesting these next 7 weeks when we get to each game. In my opinion, and fine, I'll come on here and eat crow myself. I'll be the opposite of everything, Gary. I think we're 21 points better than every team left on our schedule. And I will double down on that, okay? We should have beaten all these other teams, the other teams.
We've done so far. We've had big leads.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Now, if talk about this stuff, but I don't want to keep going backwards. Jimmy Johnson, I don't think he ever sat on a lead. He
never.
And go out there and they run flea flickers and double reverses against Notre Dame of 55-7 or whatever the hell it was.
Absolutely.
First stringers out there. What do you want from me? Tell these kids they don't have to play hard? I'm not doing that. I'm not saying
unleash,
but he has He had the mentality, and maybe Mario's trying to get it. I don't really know, but it doesn't seem like it.
Yeah, he needs to unleash these guys. I mean, Carson Beck. I mean, when he was doing the finger counting or whatever like that, I mean, that was just so badass right there. I mean, that was just old school, and I loved us knocking the crap out of them. Okay, that was a grown man's game, and I'm going to tell you this: if the refs would have let them play football and not thrown out Dylan Day, I mean, it's just ridiculous that we were the harder hitting team. They didn't want none, and Malzahn had to dial up every damn play he's ever come up with wherever he even coached at, Arkansas State, wherever. I mean, honestly, and it still didn't generate anything until the very end, until we were dog tired. Another thing that I'm going to tell you that I've said this before, guys, on here, and I have an issue with it. I understand that we're in this era of the NIL, and that we have to make sure that every kid gets some playing time, because heaven forbid they go somewhere else. But I just did not agree that Jordan Lyle should have been getting the carries in that fourth quarter. Fletcher only got one carry that entire fourth quarter, and he slipped. As a matter of fact, if he doesn't slip, there's a good chance he even picks up that first down before we even talking about a fourth down, to be honest with you. Right. So I just am just getting at that. I'm glad that we worked him in the rotation, but that wasn't the opportunity, especially when they kind of had you on your heels and so forth. And he needed to get kind of back psyched up in there. And you got to go with Brown and Fletcher. And the other thing too is, why are you running into the teeth of that defense when the end arounds and the outside is open right there? I mean, that's where you needed to go. You were faster than them, you were more physical than them, and you were just playing into their hands. And that's just what was frustrating. That was just what was so frustrating as an assistant coach with what I do in high school.
But watching it, screaming, "Kick their ass! Kick their ass!"
Yes, because let me tell you this:
it wasn't such a bad game, but it was. We still kicked their ass. But my God.
Bruce,
anyway,
Gary,
I don't want to keep complaining because Gary's going to get upset.
No, but Gary will back me up on this. Gary, how miserable were you on that sideline 3 damn years ago when the students were wanting to leave in the second quarter and the buses were not even there for them at Pro Player, and Norvell kept running it up our ass? Do you think he cared or anything like that? No. I mean, we should have wanted to beat them 45-3.
Did you guys see how frosty the post-game handshake was?
Yes, and I'm so glad you mentioned it. They didn't even say. Bowden, let me just say, Jimbo Bowden, anybody that's been their coach, I'm telling you, has always been gracious in defeat or when they've won. And I swear, it was the quickest blow by I haven't seen since Shannon and Urban Meyer shook hands. Since Shannon and Urban Meyer shook hands in that 2008 Gator game.
I was hoping that Mario would punch him in the mouth, but it didn't happen.
Oh, it would have been nice.
I don't know what was up there.
That was
no,
bad.
it was. It was bad.
I didn't want to talk to him.
Florida State must somebody accuse somebody of a recruiting violation or something, because that was a blow by. That was crazy.
It was a blow by. It was a blow by. It was very awkward. It was very awkward to see and so forth. But here's the thing. The one thing that I want to leave it with is that we are 21 points better than everybody on our schedule. Obviously, the intangibles can happen, weather, all sorts of stuff. But we cannot leave it in the hands of the officials. I want to absolutely smoke everybody, get in such of a lead, and then get some of these guys the playing time, get them ready, especially if they're going to have bigger roles next year, if they even want to be in part of this team next year. You know what? If they're not wanting to be here, there's the damn door. I want guys that want to be here. And if everybody can look at the guys that we've hit on in the transfer portal, anybody that maybe it's not working out somewhere else that wants an opportunity, I'm not just saying that they're trash. I'm saying that they're good at their schools, but maybe it doesn't fit their scheme that they're used to or what that plays to their talents, and they want to get to the NFL, come here, honestly, and show out, because we're on prime time the rest of the year. I doubt we'll get another CW game, heaven forbid. We need to be on the prime time whenever we're playing and so forth like that. It's bad enough we got this ACC Friday night game.
I'm sure ACC Network will take it. So, yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So, guys, thank you for having me on, and keep doing your thing. So, we will. Go Canes.
We'll see you next
week.
Got it. Yeah.
You bet.
Nice.
So, Gary,
yeah,
I didn't hear the beginning. What's your spin on JoJo Trader? He's still not practicing well. That's what I heard.
What I've heard is that he's not working hard enough in practice. He's not putting the sufficient effort in. There's a lot of entitlement there, and that he needs to step it up. And until he does, they're not putting him out there. And listen, that's called coaching. Kids, you have to earn your spot, and he hasn't earned it yet. And what am I? I'm not going to put Marion on the bench and Tony Johnson. Well, Tony Johnson barely played the other day anyway. Josh Moore is barely playing. I mean, it's a lot of guys barely playing. Like, you got to earn your spot out there. And
did he play at all?
Dodo, I don't think he had a rep.
Right. So they were up they could have put him in the second quarter, the beginning of the third quarter for something, but he must really be screwing around in practice and not busting his butt.
I mean, it's nothing that anybody's talking about a lot. I mean, you literally got to get information on this. It literally takes an FBI investigation. But that's what I've heard. I've heard that he isn't practicing well and hard enough. And until he does, and until he proves that he's one of the best three, he's going to keep watching games.
Where would he get the sense of entitlement from? Because he's supposed to be the star receiver? Because
I guess. He got a huge NIL deal. I mean, I don't know. Like, I mean, listen, this was he's got a little. I saw some of it in high school. I mean, I don't want to go like he's a kid, but like, I saw a little of that Hollywood, kind of thing. And like, that ain't flying here. You got guys that can play. I mean, look at
a kid like Malachi Tony. Tony
Daniels.
He said, I better start playing because this kid's special.
Yeah. I mean, these
guys
guys
light a fire under this kid, but I guess not.
But I mean, they all want to be out there. Marion, Tony Johnson,
of course,
Nikar, Ray Joseph. I mean, it's a lot of competition in that receiver room. That's just how the coaches like it. All right, I want to thank everybody that participated in tonight's show. Great show. Thank Matt Shodell. Bruce, thank you for coming by. We will be back here next Tuesday night for another edition of CaneSport Live. Tomorrow night at 8 p.m., we've got the Lamar Thomas show. That show's been lit up this week, man. If you guys have not been watching the Lamar Thomas show, you have been missing a treat. Last week's show was insane. We had Michael Irvin on for a while. It was really, really good. So come back tomorrow night, 8 o'clock. We'll have the Lamar Thomas show. So for Bruce, I'm Gary. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, everybody, and we will see you next time.